or don't.
Fine, I was waiting for the fucking thing to say on air.
When you press start, it just goes on air.
No, it doesn't.
No, it takes a little moment for us to update.
Yeah, it does, but it starts recording from as soon as you press the button. I've tested this.
This is definitely a better use of the recording time than the recap, though.
Sure.
Yeah. When the party returns to the city to deal with the trapper, the next day finds the tavern visited by an elaborately and colorfully dressed man. He introduces himself as Dukir, a wealthy merchant of seemingly considerable means. He wants to support their little effort of doing good and facing off against the world. 50,000 gold in exchange for a favor. He has platinum in hand and a contract already. Just the favor may include, but is not limited to, murder, espionage, theft, sexual favors, seduction, slavery, and/or kidnap. And if we also rescind our rights to deny Dukir his favor and further rescind their rights to their personal freedom, should Dukir see fit. Abrashmina flatly refuses based on the conditions listed, and while Bryn tries to negotiate some addendums, Dukir seems to be the type that is not used to not getting his way and storms out of the Mirage without much discussion. The rest of the day passes quietly, and the next morning Thal arrives at the Mirage to call on Abrashmina's promise. It seems some friends of his who owns the Shalfadi were robbed the night before and would like her help in retrieving the magical brewing pot that was stolen. It has been in the owner's family for generations and is capable of great alchemical magics. They agree to help. The others agree to help Abrashmina, and they go to meet the owners of the Silver Shawl. Thela and Ube are thrilled to have their help. Ube is a northern lamenter who used to fight in the Vakar, and he and Makud share great respect for each other as two men who've managed to earn their freedom. Thela is an Ashari woman who inherited the pot from her mother, and due to Ube's history of being a slave, the couple tend to employ ex-slaves and help them save money to have their brands removed. The night before, someone broke into their private chambers, and when confronted, attacked Ube and fled with the pot. The couple share that someone recently inquired about the pot and got very angry when they did not agree to sell it. The description of the fellow was unfamiliar to the party, and we decide to question some of the guests to see if they might have heard anything. And a harmless seeming lamenter who just happened to be a necromancer named Irinix the Black. Yorinex the Black. I should have had a pronunciation guide next to that for me. Yorinex the Black tells us that he had heard the thief crash into one of the pools in the courtyard and is certain he had heard them drop something before they went over the wall. This turns out to be a small black ring that bears the insignia of the Black Aaron, a well-known Ashari vigilante. Has been out of commission for about 50 years or so now, and based on the age of the attacker, the hero is not likely to have been the perpetrator. Bryn identifies the ring as magical and recognizes that it allows someone to be a bit more proficient in the event that they get a critical hit. Spotting a trail of blood on the other side of the Shalfadi walls, the others follow it to a ramshackle pet shop. The owner convinces Bryn to part with some of her hard-earned gold to purchase a sand spider, a unicorn that is really a one-horned goat, while Abrashmina searches the cluttered shop for the pot. She doesn't find it, but while distracting the owner, Bryn learns that someone had come into her shop in a rush and asked where the shipping warehouse was. And Abrashmina recognizes it as the name of a company that literally ships goods anywhere. And thinking that the thief is about to send the pot to a seller, they rush off there, but not before rescuing another clutch of wyvern chicks from the woman with Makud's new brood and a beetle that follows them out of the shop where they leave for the shipping warehouse. Upon arriving, Abrashmina uses her magic to discern if the pot is nearby, and she senses it in the back, and with Bryn's help manages to cow the employees into turning over the stolen goods and providing all of the information that they had on it. Unfortunately, the pot is missing a piece. It's been broken. A enameled panel that appears to have fueled the magic is now missing. The pot is not the same without the panel, and they will still need to recover the panel for Thela before we are done. The pot was to be delivered to a precise location in the desert near the oasis. It was to be mailed to the same man that brought it in. The name on the form is a familiar one. The thief that brought it into the shipping warehouse matches the description of Dukir, the wealthy merchant that they had rebuked the day before. And it seems that the favor that he had in mind might have been to steal the spot. Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you, C. You are awesome and may have an inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
So,
I have a real quick question.
yes, of course.
What happened with the trapper?
We didn't do it. We were waiting for our lovely Declan. So basically, the time is going to be weird here. So basically, this is happening after you've interrogated the trapper.
Okay.
Presumably, because that's one of the first things you do.
Mm-hmm.
But then after we've done this, we're going to go back and interrogate the trapper.
Okay. And Declan has been present but quiet, or doing something?
So Declan has been not part of this favor.
Okay.
But then
I'll just stay quiet until we get back to the trapper, then, if that makes sense. Unless
no, we came back to.
I would
before
I would recommend you do not join.
Okay.
Basically, it was just said that you were working on some of your
doing alchemy.
You were actually make me a like whatever check alchemy would be.
Sure.
Intelligence plus proficiency. Assume.
Yeah. That wasn't a great roll. That's going to be.
It's a low DC.
Okay, well that's.
Could he have advantage because he had plenty of time to work on it?
No.
Okay.
It's
I
fair.
tried.
I accept your ruling.
It's a low DC though.
Yeah. That would be a 10.
Okay, 10 was the DC. So you were just identifying one of the things you're doing was identifying the poison that was used on Makood.
Mm-hmm.
In all your experiments, you're pretty certain it's just a very standard poison. There's nothing strange that would impact the mental state of anyone infected by it.
Interesting.
Envenomated.
So I can assume was magical.
Yes.
In some form.
Or you can at the very least, assume it's nothing to do with the poison.
Okay.
Did he happen to identify the other potions that he had while he was experimenting?
Did I?
Because he's got that blue one that he got on the second session or the second session. Then he's got a gray one, and then another blue one.
I've got a blue potion.
Oh no, a red, a blue, and a gray.
Yes.
Guess I don't have all those written down. You're way better at this than I am.
Yeah. She's my secretary, so she.
If you're gonna steal from all these thief caches, you could at least write it down, dude.
There was a red potion in the thieves' cache.
Yeah, you have a bunch of mushrooms as well.
We know
a glass jar with opaque blue ice on melting. A grayish potion.
I thought
a
you
blue
said
potion.
Yeah. You definitely did get a blue potion.
I got the blue potion.
Or not the ice potion, though, a different blue potion.
Yeah. I have a separate blue potion.
So the blue potion is a potion of flying.
Oh.
The red potion, I believe, was a potion of fire resistance. Potion of fire resistance. The gray potion was universal solvent.
Nice.
Ooh.
And the ice potion is in fact not a potion. You have a jar, and inside is basically a solid ice cube, and you can't get it to melt no matter what. Even if you take a hammer to it or something, it doesn't crack. It's very solid.
I'm handling this with the thickest leather.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where if you're holding it for 5 minutes, that's frostbite. It's that cold. So it's definitely something you want to be careful with.
Is this a well-known type of thing in a jar for cooling?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
There are similar things, but none of them are this cold and last this long. They all melt eventually.
So invent the refrigerator, make loads of money.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I can reverse engineer this. It'd be incredibly useful.
I mean, we could have like, chilled wine in our bar. If
Mhm.
nothing else. Just get a little cooler and put this thing in it and let it cool everything else in there. We'll be soap pops.
Declan's going to be very curious about this ice and just like working away with it all day
Okay.
until someone comes to get him.
So during the downtime, because we're going to do downtime after, or the remainder of the downtime after interrogating Jura, I'll let you make some more checks.
Okay.
So we're skipping ahead a little bit. So if you remember, you guys determined that the fastest way to get to this place would not to be go around, because that would probably take a very, very long time. And it would, in fact, to try and charter a boat across the oasis. There's lots of fishermen on the oasis.
Oh, I don't think we actually discussed this, but this is good to know.
Okay, well, I remember mentioning it, but my memory is atrocious, so who knows? And so you managed to charter a boat from a man named Gulid, a fairly small fishing vessel, but it's got a very high mast and large sails, and so it kind of speeds and skips across the water. And you arrive after the better part of a day's travel, probably a good 4 hours. So it's starting to get to evening by the time you arrive.
Thal is still with us, correct?
Thal is still with you.
Maya is not?
Maya's not. She is ill. And so you...
So I would probably want to have a talk with Thal if it hasn't been had already.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
he, just for clarification, he is hood up, hiding from the sun.
Okay.
In as much shade as he can find.
Has the conversation been had that we're trying not to kill people, or at least Declan is with this guy again?
We haven't killed anyone yet.
No one else is bothered.
Yeah.
So I'll take a moment while we're moving and just say, Thal, I appreciate your assistance in this endeavor. I hope you understand that for as long as you are operating with us, though, we will take lethal force only when absolutely required.
He sort of frowns up at you for a moment, and then shrugs and nods.
I appreciate it. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's fine. And he's just sort of trying to stay in the shade. And he says, why don't you like killing people, even if they're bad?
Well, to determine someone's worth is a difficult thing. Even those who consider themselves good men do bad things, and the bad good. You spend enough time getting to know people, and people of all walks, you see this to be true more and more.
I suppose.
Have you never done a thing that you felt ashamed for?
He just immediately looks away, and he says, I have, yes.
All I'm saying is that I'm not here to judge your soul.
I understand.
And I'll let it go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he would definitely not be that interested in continuing this conversation as soon
I'm not
as
interested in talking philosophy with them anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
Just practical.
So when you arrive in the desert, this is for all of you probably but Makud, your first time in the desert. It is gorgeous out here. You arrive fairly near the coast with the oasis behind you. Without the shade of the buildings or trees, it is hot. The sun beats down mercilessly, and it is just hard to breathe. It's hard to walk on the sand. Everything just seems designed to make life hell out here. You can see the ocean off to your left, towards the east, glittering and almost turquoise, curving off into the horizon. Just this shimmering jewel, far more beautiful than the ocean you've probably seen anywhere else. You get out the map and you follow the trail or follow it to the X, kind of guessing where you were. And looking ahead, you see a small kind of collection of palm trees, and beneath it, the small wooden cabin. It's made of the local wood, with this like spotted rustic coloring, and it's fairly like modest. But there's a washing line hanging from one corner of it to a tree, and there's like several fancy outfits like kind of billowing in the breeze, like having been washed. There's no outward sign of life. You can't see anyone moving, but you can definitely like you get the impression that someone's been here recently, and could still be here inside. The door to the cabin is facing south, and you guys are approaching from the east. So the door to the cabin would sort of open out to your left as you approach.
Can I do like a cursory like investigation perception check of the area and just see if I spot any obvious ambush spots or things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perception 21.
Okay, so you definitely there's not much place to ambush anyone from here. Like unless they're sort of behind the cabin or whatever, because it's just so open. Though you do like you see there's some kind of cracks in the wood, and you do see I think you see someone moving in there.
Someone moving in the
cabin.
cracks in the cabin. Well, I'll let everyone know there seems to be someone inside. So, care to scout ahead with me?
Okay.
I'll kind of look to everyone for confirmation that this is okay.
Barashmina nods.
Makud is kind of just looking and taking into the desert. He's possibly like letting some sand run through his big hands.
Yeah. It's definitely got this sort of calling to you, Makud. Like being out here in the sun and seeing the desert open in front of you, there's this kind of almost like bestial instinct, what we would think of as like caveman instinct, that you shouldn't stay here. You should be out walking, out moving in the sand, you know, being where your ancestors were. You see like a wind kind of skitter across the kind of ridges of sand, and you see, you know, familiar shapes, like, you know, partial faces and bodies that you almost recognize, and they're beckoning you towards the desert. But you know you got a job to do. You know you've got loyalty to your friends, so you turn your gaze towards your objective, but that's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, he's even more distracted than usual.
That's what we like.
Long wistful glances.
So, Thal will follow you, Declan. What's your plan here? Declan is gone. Thal begins doing press-ups in preparation for Declan's return. I think Makud would also, like you guys would also be able to see the tips of the Zagros Mountains from here. You know, they are kind of hazy in the heat and very, very distant. But you can see them sort of stretched up like a crown across the land. And you definitely, Makud, have this like constant feeling like that's where I should be going. I should be walking that direction. I shouldn't be here involved in this. I should get back to what I know. What feels right almost, you know?
I mean, it's probably been like over a decade since he was out in the desert.
How old is Makud?
No, not that I think anyone has really ever been tracking his age, but I think he is like early to mid 20s. Like he's quite young. He's just big, and always been big. And I think he was taken, you know, a decade ago. So, ish. So like he spent like half of his life in the city and half of it in the desert, man.
Yeah. And I guess like it's probably for him there's probably been this like almost stifling of of these kind of feelings when he's been in the city? It's like,
Oh yeah,
he's been so far from that, he hasn't realized how much he's missed the desert until he's back out here, and he's like, oh my god.
I think that's part of the reason he kind of liked the Vicar, that the sand in the arena. So I think he's.
Yeah, but again, like that sand is raked and bloody, and so it doesn't quite feel the same as being out here.
No, other corpses tend to ruin it.
And
eventually,
pots. If you leave the corpses long enough, they just turn into more sand.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I had to go pay the plumber.
No worries, man. So yeah, what's your plan here for the approach?
It's like high noon right now, but essentially, like
no, it's starting to head towards afternoon actually, or evening even.
Can we approach from a direction? We're approaching from the east, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the sun is setting in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of in your eyes.
Yeah, that's not great. Might want to take a long loop around and come from a different direction.
Yeah. So you could go loop around the south way. The only problem is you can't really loop that far around the north way because the oasis is to the north.
That's the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this hut is basically on the shore of the oasis.
Yeah.
Like maybe 60 feet from the oasis. So you could circle around, but you couldn't get a super long loop.
And the door is on the south face.
The door is on the south face, and the oasis is to the north. Yeah.
Any cover?
Apart from that small group of trees, not really.
Okay.
There are like a couple of sort of skirted, raised, like mini sand dunes that you could kind of duck behind, but it's limited.
Yeah. Well, I guess try to use the limited cover to approach as best as possible, moving very slowly, very low. And Thal's actually better at this than me, I think.
Oh,
right?
yeah, he will be.
So I'm going to let him lead the way.
Okay. So,
if I can assist his roll or something like that.
For stealth?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think that's fair. Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah. Thank goodness for the advantage. So he rolled a 10 and a 4. He's got a +8, so.
Okay.
That's an 18. Just.
Okay. Did you want me to roll as well?
Yeah, go for it.
That's going to be a 16.
Okay. So you and Thal both kind of skirt closer, keeping low. The way Thal moves, you've never been able to really focus on it before because you've only ever seen him move like this in a fight. But it's every placement of his foot is just so. Every like tiny movement, he doesn't make mistakes when he walks. His feet don't scrape the ground. It's very much controlled. And so he's able to
red swell of admiration, but keeps it to himself.
Yeah, his like footprints as well, because he walks mostly on the balls of his feet, even on the sand. So his footprints are completely different to normal and like much harder to detect. And you guys are able to get right up without being noticed, so as close as you want to go. And Thal just draws his like 2 sickles slowly from inside his cloak.
I'll move up ahead of him and just give him a hand up just to tell him to still himself.
He nods.
And I will try to get up to the window and see inside without being seen.
So there's no window, but there's definitely like a crack.
Oh, you said there were cracks, right? So I'll just
you
can
see
if I can count the number of people.
Definitely. So looking inside, you see like the cabin is sort of, it's like a hoarder's cabin. There's just stuff everywhere, like pushed up into the kind of mini rafters, like against every wall. There's a very small space in here. And you see someone appears to be like folding clothes. He's the man, it looks like the man that you saw when he came into the inn, which you probably got a glance at some point.
The guy who tried to
the contract guy.
Whatever.
He's wearing, he's got this red hair, but he's a shari.
Is he dressed as splendidly as he was?
He's not. He's wearing like his splendid clothes are on the line outside, and he's wearing these sort of like breeches, and he's topless, Just sort of fairly well muscled, but nothing special. He's got, sort of a bit of a barrel chest going on. And he's just humming to himself as he's folding clothes.
What's he humming?
A song.
Make it up on the spot.
Yeah, it's not a tune you recognize.
Okay. Do I see any obvious signs of trap work around the cabin? Or
make me an investigation check, please.
I think I will.
Thal will give you a hand so you can have advantage.
Sure. No need though. It's a natural 20.
Boom.
For a total
okay. You do not find any traps per se, though you do notice that the back entrance has like a secret kind of little like sliding panel door for a quick getaway. Though you're not sure how effective that would be because he's quite a big man. He'd have to crawl through.
Can I see where that hatch might exit? Does it like?
Yeah. So it like you actually find it on the outside of the cabin, and so it exits northwards towards the water.
Okay, I'm gonna bar this one, and bar the front door, and then burn down the cabin. No, I'm just kidding.
You can do that if you want, man.
No, Declan's not gonna do that.
Yeah, we don't kill people. We just destroy their property.
Right, exactly.
Coward.
Burn it down with him. So I will actually bar. Like I imagine Declan's got a thieves tools set, and it's probably got like a little padlock in there. So if I don't, then I'll try to just find a way to jam the lock with my thieves tools.
Roll me a d20.
Sure. Natural 1.
You do not, I'm afraid.
Okay, then can I try to jam it with my thieves tools?
Absolutely.
You go to lockpick and the wall like falls down like Buster Keaton, and you're just like left there. Whoops.
That's a lot better. That's going to be +9 is 25.
Yeah. So you kind of are like fiddling with it, and then you realize the easiest way is probably take the little like sort of fabric roll that your thieves tools come in, and just push that into the sliding panel so it can't open. And so you're able to do that, no worries.
Okay. Then I am going to stay where I am. I'll have Thal stay where he is, and I'll just as quietly as I can just say stay here.
Yeah, you're starting to notice a really horrible smell coming from the cabin, though.
Is there anything going on inside that would indicate why? Do I recognize?
No, but you've definitely smelt this smell before. Or you've smelt similar things when you're out at the harbor, but this is like kind of sweeter. It makes you gag a little bit when you're that close. You're thinking maybe rotten fish.
Is it coming from the cabin or from the...
Yeah, absolutely, inside the cabin.
How big is the cabin?
Not very big. Maybe like 15 by 15. Good sized cabin, but it's a cabin.
Did the smell just start, or is it?
No, you've kind of been able to smell it, but it's like the longer you spend in it, the more you're like, oh, that is hard to deal with.
All right. I'm going to ask Thal to stay and keep an eye on him, and I'm going to run back. Well, not run, but move back to the party.
Okay.
Do you want another stealth check, or
no? We'll just, for the sake of brevity, we're gonna.
Sure. So I'll get back and I'll say, so our friend with the shady contract is inside. Seems to be folding his laundry. The place is packed wall to wall with odds and ends. I've barred his escape route, so if we want to simply try to knock on the front door for a conversation, we could do that. Perhaps we can resolve this non-violently. Thal is keeping an eye to make sure he doesn't get away.
That seems like a good idea.
What do you say, Bryn? You up for a bit of persuading intimidation?
I mean, can I at least threaten some violence?
I think I've acquiesced to that on more than one occasion. Might as well not change that trend now.
All right. Let's go knock on the front door.
Are you guys approaching quietly, or are you just walking up?
Well, so I've investigated pretty thoroughly, right? I'm confident there's no traps or ambushes.
You are comfortable that there are no traps.
I mean, Thal's watching the guy, so yeah. I mean, we might want to do maybe a detect magic or something first, like to see if there's any magical stuff going on. But that's
I
not
can do
really.
that,
I
yes.
mean, I will say you crit that investigation check, did you not?
Yes.
Then I would have given you any.
Okay, so there's nothing for him to.
You have no inkling. You kind of get the impression he's like, I'm all the way out here. I don't need to be that careful. No one's going to come out here.
Okay.
Type
Well,
deal.
let's go show him how wrong he is.
Very well. So you're not trying to be stealthy walking up then, correct?
No, I legit saunter up there.
Okay, so he hears you coming, and like as Thal's looking in, he sees him sort of like freeze and look kind of in your direction. He swears in a language that no one understands, and like throws open the door and strides out. He says, "What are you doing here?"
Come to negotiate the terms of contract you offered us.
And see his like fists ball up, and his face like twists in fury.
Does he have any like thing in his hands? Does he have any material components?
No.
Things like that. Then okay.
He is shirtless. He is wearing trousers. But yeah, like there's no discernible equipment on him.
Okay.
And he says, "This is not a place for you. Leave."
Do you have any idea how hard it was to track you down?
Not hard enough, apparently.
No, because it seems that you've been, making quite a mess with some of my friends.
He lets out this like kind of low growl and kind of starts stalking towards you.
I don't think I would take another step. We might get the wrong impression about your intentions.
Oh, my intentions are quite clear. I mean,
Can I insight check him, please?
you may.
I would also like to insight check him.
You may.
Well, that is a 19 on the dice. That will be a 27 altogether.
Ooh. 18 total, so he wins.
Okay, Declan, you're getting a weird vibe from him.
Mhm.
Abrishmina, he knows something you don't know.
What?
His demeanor gives you the impression that there's something going on. Something's not right. He is confident when he shouldn't be. He doesn't appear to be fazed by the fact that he's vastly outnumbered. He has seen Thal behind him, who's like walking towards him, but is just ignoring him. He doesn't seem worried.
Declan's going to start walking away from the group.
Which
Like
direction?
Not towards him necessarily, but
Okay.
like to the right or the left of the group, depending.
Okay, so left is south, right is north.
I am going to Abrashmina's gonna like raise a hand over her holy symbol, and I'm going to ready a spell for if he makes an aggressive move.
Okay. So he continues to approach until he's standing immediately in front of Bryn. Is there anything you'd like to do? Dan/Jade?
I'm gonna sorry.
No, you go.
I was gonna say I'd like to use my insightful fighting against him and just start looking for weak spots.
Okay.
That's going to be insight 23 versus a deception.
Okay, he got a 8. Yeah, you can see he's much more confident on one foot than the other on the sand. And so you reckon maybe aiming for one of his feet, you might be able to get him off his feet a bit easier if you take away the more stable one.
Okay. I'll just say real quick to him, we're not here to combat you, friend. We only wish to come to amiable terms.
He just growls again and staring like directly at Bryn, his like eyes locked to hers.
I'm going to draw both my rapiers, kind of give him a wink and be like, "Don't say I didn't warn you, friend."
He grins at that, but he is still... Seems like no one else exists in the world to him, just Bryn.
I'm going to cast Calm Emotions.
Okay. Does he get a save?
Charisma save. It
Good.
will also be Bryn.
Oh, fuck. Right. Yeah. Charisma, Faith.
Charisma. Oh no.
Oh yeah. 24.
13.
24. All right. Well, if it doesn't work on him, then I'm not going to keep it up.
Good. Makood.
Does Makood is quite heavy, and I imagine is like hoof deep in the sand, possibly because he's been kicking around in it or something a bit. He doesn't sense any tremors, nothing sandwormy going on.
Make me a check. I'm going to say nature.
Sure. I have loads of animal handling. Nature.
I mean, you're not trying to handle an animal, though.
I know. It's an int skill.
You can have advantage because why not?
Sweet.
You're a desert boy. You know if desert things are deserting.
11 is my bestest. Nah. Okay. No,
there's not no such thing as sandworms, mate.
I mean, I think I pulled some wyverns out of the corpse of one, but okay, that was just fake news.
That was just their nest.
Sure.
No, yeah, you don't think there's anything.
He's distracted.
But yeah, you're definitely like, ooh, the sand on my feet, so nice.
Nice and warming on the hooves. He's not going to act super aggressively yet. I imagine he's close to Bryn. He hasn't like backed away or flanked around, but he's kind of like looking sideways on a little bit, maybe the sun over the oasis, and he's kind of biding his time.
And so, Dukia, sorry, I just need to push in this strawberry. That would have just been super loud if I hadn't muted for a sec. So, Dukia leans in really close to you, Bryn, and he says, "Are you ready for this? Because I'm going to make you regret this action in this life and the next." And you see his face begin to sort of change in front of you. His nose sort of pushes out and becomes more square. His eyes turn bright yellow. And his skin begins to turn this very bright orange before growing hair and stretching out, and his ears move to the top of his head and turn pointy until standing before you, much, much taller than you are, probably Makood height, is a man who looks exactly like some kind of tiger, but highly muscular, well-defined, and furious looking, and he growls and is going to attack, but ready to actions. So let me have him. Abrishmina, you said first.
He was a secret sandworm all along.
Does he have backward-facing hands?
He does.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
Fuck. That is.
Well, before then, you just thought he was any old tiger man, but after that,
Could have been a lot of things.
Yeah, he could have been a lot of things. Sorry, I just have to upcast Ray of Enfeeblement.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have
does
used up
she
all
know?
No, I have to upcast it because I just did Calm Emotions. Otherwise, I don't
Okay.
have any second level spell slots. I have to upcast it. So I'm just it's level 3 right now.
Okay.
But it's a con save. DC 15.
DC 16. Okay, that's an 18.
Okay. Yeah, I figured.
So your just spell like kind of washes over him and just fades, and his fur kind of ripples. But he's letting out this low, long growl. Anyone else have a ready action?
I'd like to launch a dagger at his head.
I think we should do initiative.
Just standing there with my fucking rapiers in my hand.
Fine.
You did just say ready actions.
I did, but you were the only one who said ready to action. Everyone else was just like, but yeah, it's fair.
I mean,
I think
Do
we
it.
were all ready.
Yeah,
I mean, we're all ready, including him.
Guys,
Like,
I've said yes. Like, let's move on with our lives. Okay.
no, but I'm saying that it can't be it shouldn't be a surprise round. He was ready to do this shit and swipe at her.
Well, I will say I think
15
Bryn and Declan were both like prepared.
Okay.
But
Trying
next
to give you a
time,
free shot of the bad guy. Damn! Don't argue.
Okay, so we'll say you two can have it now. But next time, if you want to do a ready to action, please say. I think that's
okay. That's fair.
That's good.
I rolled at 18 to hit.
That hits.
25 to hit.
Hits.
My ready action is to build a sandcastle there.
My initiative is only a 2.
I saw.
No, wait,
I see.
3. I forgot my modifier.
Uh,
No, wait, no, my modifier is a 5.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm sure this time. I forgot she's a Dexy girl. I was confusing her with Dawnfire.
Declan throws
Shade.
a throwing knife. He throws lots of shade, but mostly a throwing knife
Drops a hot ass diss track.
for 19 points of damage.
19.
10 points of damage from Bryn.
Awesome.
And a 13 on my initiative.
Oh yeah.
I got a 10.
Ain't gonna roll it. I'm sorry. Oh, that's
I'm about to get murdered.
17.
Rekshazma? He's actually a wasp man. Back with mandibles.
What did Bryn get?
13.
13. Okay, well, first up is, predictably, Thal. So Thal runs towards this man, swinging both his sickles.
I shout, Thal, you can kill this one!
He gets a 25 and a 11. The 25 hits. Actually gets another attack, doesn't he? And a natural 1. Good. Good boy, Thal. Good boy. Keep your actions alive.
Doesn't he have a thing that gives him advantage?
I haven't played Thal in so long. No.
Because he's a Kensei, isn't he?
Yeah, that just means his weapons are magical.
Oh, I thought
And
there was like
he can.
a-
Oh, yeah, he
reroll.
can use a bonus action to add double his proficiency bonus.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Um,
I think I was thinking the samurai. Never mind.
Cool.
So did he hit once?
Yeah, he hit once for 8 damage.
Cool.
Oh shit, that was kind of fucking idiot.
Swing.
Apologies.
No, that was me. Sorry. So it is Dukir's turn. He like growls in pain, and he's beginning to bleed this sort of black and red, like marble blood. Yeah, let's do that. He is gonna swipe at Bryn with his claws. Oh, Bryn. That is gonna be a 21 and a 26 to hit. I'm just gonna assume those hit.
They hit so hard, Chief.
No, I was muted when I gave my customary smart-ass remark.
Oh, nice. You take 22 points of slashing damage in total, and you are cursed.
Story of my life.
The magical curse takes effect whenever the target takes a short or long rest, filling the target's thoughts with horrible images and dreams. Good.
Hold on a second.
Don't worry, I have an ointment for that.
No, I actually think I'm immune.
To curses?
Well, I'll be immune to the effect. I'm
Dreaming.
severed from dreams.
Nice.
Interesting.
Excellent.
We'll have to talk about how that exactly would work, but
Oh, I've got some ideas.
Oh, is it going to hurt?
well, no,
That
I'm
kind of
immune to magical
desperate
spells or effects that require you to dream.
Oh yeah, then yeah, you're immune. It's a magical effect.
Yep.
Declan.
I would like to draw my hand crossbow and fire it at his face.
You may try.
Are you using the Jura crossbow?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not a hand crossbow. That's a heavy ass crossbow.
Oh, is it?
yeah,
Oh,
heavy.
never mind.
Yeah, it's like a 2-hand fucking ballista.
I mean, I can still use it though, right?
Yeah,
No, it's a
but
martial weapon.
it's a heavy crossbow. So
Right. Yeah, no, I can't use it. Never mind.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'll stop
And
interrupting.
crossbow. That's going to be 15 to hit.
misses.
Then I do nothing. Actually, no. There's nothing to hide here behind here, right?
You could definitely like skirt out of his vision. No, if you
what
want to try and hide, I'll let you.
What I think I want to do actually is move towards his cabin.
Okay.
Get behind him. If I can get, I have 60 feet of movement. If I use my bonus action to dash.
Yeah, you can get there.
Yeah, I'd like to like go inside his cabin.
Okay. Smell of rotting fish just overpowers you. There's just shit everywhere, like little gold trinkets, potions,
Any
and
weapons?
stuff everywhere. A few, yeah.
Any dex weapons?
There's a couple daggers.
Any
But
that look really, really fancy?
they all look very fancy, but not very effective. They're very much like ceremonial types.
Okay.
You can make an investigation check on your action next turn to have a
Thank
look.
I
You're
can
welcome.
investigate as a bonus action, actually.
But you dashed as a bonus action. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I know.
Cool. Brian, it's your go.
Life of Brian.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes.
That's Brian. Sorry.
I was like, I don't know who the fuck Brian is, but he sounds like a fucking asshole.
Brian's an asshole name. No,
Poor
I'm kidding.
Brian.
I've known some nice Brians.
All right, so that's 2 attacks and my bonus action. So that's going to be 23, 21,
Yep.
and a 17.
Yep.
They all hit?
Yep.
Damn, girl.
11, 5, and 8.
Okay, 24. Yeah, he's not looking good. He's like bleeding a lot. He's sort of staggered slightly. Makood.
So this guy grows to be about the size of me, so he's like
Yeah.
clear to be seen over
Yeah.
Bryn. I was going to treat it like a horn attack, but basically he he's got a standing side on, and he kind of like slides the axe out with like the left, and the left is closer to the guy, and then I'm just gonna like full on smack him in the face, like clear of Bryn by like a foot or two, I imagine, as my first attack, and then I'm gonna follow up with the axe. So oh yeah, also rage. So yeah, what I think is he like clenches his fist and like draws it up from his side, and the sand kind of comes with it, and he smashes the guy. 18.
Hits.
Schwit. Where have those d8s hidden themselves? And plus the rage and the strength. That's 8 damage because I rolled a 1.
Nice.
But still 8 damage.
Is that, sorry, did you say, is that horns?
That's a horn. Technically a horn, but he like punches him or headbutts him, whatever you
Cool.
care for. And then the second one is going to be the axe as he like follows up,
Sounds
swinging wildly. I like the idea that Bryn is like in between them and he's just fighting over the top of her.
Awesome.
That is more than an 18, so I shall roll when I find the right one of these.
Your turn.
Our attacks are drawing blood, right?
They are.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
described black and red marbled blood
Right.
a few times. That is 14 damage. As
14.
the axe goes cleaving across the top at like their head height.
Yeah, so he sort of like takes the punch and then the axe and sort of like growls and stumbles back, like gasping with pain. Abrishmina.
Abrashmina is going to take her holy symbol and she's going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Very well.
Up the tiger butt for a 19.
19 hits.
That is going to be 6, 8, 9 radiant damage.
9.
And the next attack against him will have advantage.
Okay. So he growls and like tries to kind of swat at the light.
I'm going to get a bit closer to Bryn, but I'm still wanting to stay out of his reach.
Okay. Thal runs up then, and with his advantage on the first, misses. 6 was the high one there. A 15 and a 3 were his other ones, so that's another single hit. 7 damage. And Thal's just like slashing at his kind of the backs of his thighs. And there's blood just kind of spraying out. But Dukia looks up at Bryn again and just begins to laugh. And you see all the blood covering him just disappear. And he stands up and he's chuckling. Did you think it would be so easy? The only wounds remaining are the ones that Thal, Makud, and Abrishmina have done. Bryn and Declan strikes just seem to have disappeared from his body. And he will kind of reach out to you, Bryn, and just whisper, you know, you really should have signed that contract. You can always sign it now. I'm gonna have to have a save of some kind from you. It is a wisdom saving throw, please.
That is going to be a 19.
Oh, you dick. Okay.
I mean, that is what we came out here to discuss.
And so yeah, you feel like this kind of purring, soft, like ease into your mind, and then you banish it just through force of will, knowing it's wrong. And he like growls again. And that's his fucking turn. Declan.
Yeah, bonus action, investigate the room. Oh god. Natural 1.
Okay.
Can I use, since I'm clearly very dumb right now, can I use my action to investigate again?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Declan's like, no, that can't be right. I see the cool stuff. I want to know.
It's like, wait a moment, I've been looking out the door this whole time.
my. So foolish.
What a fool.
23.
Oh. Well, all right then. That is a more interesting number for you to have rolled. I would please like you to roll a D100.
Ooh. Do I want to roll high or low?
You would very much like to roll high, sir.
All right, fingers crossed then. Oh, that's pretty good. 74.
74. Okay. So you okay. You reach you're like kind of pushing through looking through stuff, and you pull out this really weird sword. It's a short sword, and it's got this sort of like curved kind of black hilt and this long silver blade with different sized holes like cut through the center that are perfect circles. And as it moves, it kind of like makes this sort of like almost like haunting kind of pipe sound.
Yes.
And like as the sort of desert wind like flows into the cabin through the open door and kind of through it's making this sort of like whistling pipe sound.
Pretty cool.
Very much. It does require attunement though.
Okay, well, I'm going to assume it's still magic, even if I'm not attuned to it.
It is, yeah, you can, it's very much
I'll
magic.
just use it as a magic short sword. And I will go over there and stab him with it. Not this turn, but I'll move 30 feet towards him.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get to him next turn. But yeah, as you're running, it's making this like sound that's like has this weird reverberation where it sort of like bounces around.
Has good balance. It feels like a well-made sword.
Yeah, very much so.
Cool.
Brian.
I'm going to return the favor. Can I have a wisdom save? Yes.
You may.
Dissonant Whispers at 3rd level.
Dissonant Whispers. That's a crit fail, my friend. Wait.
Can I just say
He's got resistance.
they're magic resistant up to like
He's
5th
he's
level.
immune to magic level.
Yeah.
Magic of anything below 6th level.
That's why I said wait.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll just slash at him.
You dissonanced.
Hmm?
You don't know he's magic immune, and you just dissonant whispered him.
Fine.
As far as you know, he's fine. Or past it. Unless there was something
He
noticeable.
just laughs, of course.
All right, that's my turn.
You think those little tricks will work on me?
Did but did we notice that didn't work? Did my guiding bolt work?
Mm-hmm.
My guiding bolt worked, but her Dissonant Whispers did not.
Yeah, I'm not quite running him straight out of the book, but yeah.
But your enfeeblement didn't either.
Yeah.
Well, he made the save on that one.
I rolled.
No.
Yeah.
But the guiding bolt worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, I've sort of house ruled it to say like your damaging spells can still work, but like other stuff isn't going to really affect him. If you try and mess with his mind or whatever, just because otherwise you probably can't kill him.
Okay. Who's go then?
My apologies, Makood.
Because Makood like hit him in the face, ideally, and you said the wounds came back. I'm curious.
Makood's wounds didn't though.
None of them at all.
Cut. He is still cut from Makood's wounds.
Interesting. I just wondered if it was a difference between the axe and him, me hitting him. But okay.
Magical attacks.
That's what I thought, but it seems not. So I think it's something else.
Why does it seem not?
Because I punched him with my first attack and then magical axed him the second.
Yeah. So Makood's axe wound stays, but the punch hasn't affected.
That's what I was asking. That's what.
Sorry.
That was my
apologies.
first sentence. Did the punch?
Yeah, I completely missed that.
Because I punched him in the face, it would have been like bleeding. But that goes back, right?
I thought you meant you cut him across the face with the axe.
Well, I swung at his head.
Yeah.
Sure, but
Magical attacks.
Yes. That's what I wanted to know if Makood could work it out.
sorry.
Because if there's one thing Makood can do, it's kill somebody. So I think he might even figure that punch did little. So he is going to see them like having this I don't know, glare off with the magic.
Mhm.
And Makud is going to start bringing the axe down in a choppity chop motion.
Choppity chop motion.
Choppity chop.
Fuck.
That misses, I imagine, with a 14. And that'll hit, because that is over 20. Now... Oh, God. Roll better. 12 damage with one attack.
12 damage.
Turnover.
Turnover. Okay. Okay, yeah. So he again like stumbles back and is sort of like struggling to like stay standing in the sand, and is still bleeding from those wounds. Is that your turn?
Yes.
Abrashmina.
Abrashmina is going to cast spiritual weapon at the 3rd level.
Okay.
And so she's going to will a 16 hit. Yes, no? Maybe?
We lost him.
Hello?
I'm going to say no.
I can't remember if that hits or not.
I rolled a 15 and missed.
And Jade rolled a 17 and hit, I think.
Yes.
But it was an 18.
16 meant
My Wi-Fi just had a moment.
Does the 16 hit?
It does.
Okay. That's going to be a 2d8 because I had to upcast it. That is going to be 15 points of radiant damage
Nice.
with my bonus action. And then with my action, I am going to hold Sentinel at Death's Door for Declan's turn.
Since you guiding bolted, who was the last person who hit?
Thal.
Thal, who rolled with
And he
advantage.
had advantage,
Cool.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm holding Sentinel at Death's Door for Declan's go.
Nice.
Because I see him coming out of the hut with a weapon in hand.
Okay. So Thal is going to have 2 hits there. That's going to be 14 points of damage total. And Dukia, like one of the sickles kind of embeds in Dukia's back, and he like whirls around and is going to strike Bryn once and Thal once.
Now, I'm raging. He's within 5 feet. I've hit him. They're at disadvantage.
Oh, I like.
Ancestral Protector.
Yeah.
So, like, the sand is kind of dancing around this combat.
Yeah.
If they still hit, they have damage. They have the resistance to the damage.
So 17 to hit Bryn,
That's a hit.
and a natural 1 to hit Thal. Okay, the 17 to hit Bryn. Oh. 10, 12 slashing damage. It would be.
After halving.
No, 6.
Oh,
Then.
okay.
And that's his turn. He's gonna. Actually, it's not his turn. He's gonna kind of glance around and try and sprint away.
Towards me?
Opportunity attacks. No, he's gonna try and run.
Is he coming towards me?
Towards the water.
Oh, okay.
Opportunity attacks from Thal, Bryn, and Makud.
It's a 17 on the die, so
Hits.
Hi, math.
right. 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage. Nice.
I need more
Natural 20!
Woo!
Actually crit in combat.
Thal misses.
This might well hurt him
Bring it, Daniel.
more than it's going to hurt me, hopefully.
Kum kum.
Can I use my reaction to do Sentinel at Death's Door on Makud's crit instead of Declan's turn?
That's not what you wait for as a trigger.
But it takes my reaction to trigger the held action.
What does it do?
But you also had your action on your turn, so you didn't hold
No,
it.
that was a
She
bonus
had a bonus
action.
action.
So spiritual weapon's a bonus action. Daniel Barnes.
Okay.
We're okay. We are trying to speed through this encounter a little bit too.
So you want to make him vulnerable to the damage?
Yeah, it would make him vulnerable to the damage that he's about to take from Makood's big axe.
Nice.
Okay. So
double the damage of your dice and then double that damage.
Yeah.
after mods.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Or do you double the root damage twice and add it together?
No, so he'd be vulnerable to it. So
Right.
that means he takes double damage after everything.
Okay.
As
Okay.
Abrashmina's eyes go kind of black instead of white.
And Abrashmini, you would see Ramiel holding his sword. His eyes do the same, and he points his sword at the Rakshasa. And like you sort of, your energy meets as it happens.
Fusion.
Pretty much.
Come on, Dad, get your maths done.
Yeah. So between the two dice, I got 13. Add 7 for the modifier, and then double that, so 40 damage.
And okay,
Is it 20 double to 40?
he's super dead.
Right.
So you see, like the axe just kind of cleaves him in two, but he doesn't die immediately. His like split in half corpse is staring up at Bryn, and his head turns, and he says, "I will return for you." And then he just begins like turning to dust on the sand.
That was unexpected. The hell was that?
Do we know what that was?
Y'all can make Arcana/History checks.
I will return for you.
My favorite.
I have no idea what that was.
13.
Arcana or history, it's the same modifier for me. 9. You know what?
That's a 22 for me.
Jeebus.
You
She's
have
made
advantage,
deals with
so
it
it might be a
before.
good time to use it.
Huh?
Oh, well, you have inspiration.
Yeah, I might save it.
Okay.
So, Bryn, you know a song about a Rakshasa, and you're pretty sure that's what this is. You know that pretty much nothing stops them getting what they want eventually, and they just will keep coming back until they get it. And they got weird hands.
She'll start humming the tune as she walks towards the cabin.
Sounds like the Mos Eisley Cantina song.
Okay.
Yeah. So, are you guys heading for the cabin then?
Mm-hmm.
I kick around in the dust a little bit because
I'll
I
sort
imagine
of-
I beheaded the guy.
I imagine
Just-
as well, like you all saw, like Makood's, like kind of the normal dust that whips up around Makood in the city is like taking on much more corporeal shapes when he's out here. Like it's much thicker and fuller as he kind of returns to his homeland a little bit.
He also- Like
yeah.
he knows he's good, but he just like beheaded that guy
Yeah.
like with ridiculous
I imagine
force.
I like to imagine that it was from clavicle to under his other arm. So like kind of cut him off like diagonally across
Sure.
the torso.
Yeah.
You know, break some ribs and shit. It's gnarly. Yeah.
Declan will step over to Makood and just kind of slap him on the shoulder and say, "A peerless blow. Well struck."
I had a family.
Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you are having a conversation with Declan. You go.
No, conversation is just way to go, pal.
Makood kind of like shrugs and like looks down at the dust in the dust, and I guess I'm a lot stronger out here.
You do seem in your element.
And he kind of like looks dreamily or something out into the desert a little bit for a moment.
And Abarashmin is kind of staring off into like a space to her left, like where Romiel was, or where her like spiritual weapon was manifesting.
Yeah.
And after a minute, it fades, and then she like will go into the hut.
Very well. Let me have some investigation check from you.
May I assist someone?
I rolled a
Ugh.
38.
I would,
No,
I would
28.
actually, sorry, yeah. I would actually like individual rolls from everyone, please. Who's searching?
Oh, okay. Can I guidance myself then?
Yep.
Okay.
28, Declan.
Mhm.
Okay, another D100 then, please.
This will probably be a good time to use my inspiration.
Oh snap! 100.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay.
Tech has ruined the campaign.
Yeah.
Once
Yes,
again.
Recommending
The
things.
sword
yes.
of feast and famine.
You find a strange helmet.
Okay.
No, okay, I will get to yours in a moment then, Declan.
All right.
God, fuck.
I got a 7.
7. Roll me a D100.
Woo!
Natural 20, because I use my advantage.
Okay, give me, let's just have them one at a time. Thank you.
Sorry, I got excited.
No, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
I got 32.
Okay, a 32.
Mm-hmm.
You find a strange, small dagger, and you pull it out, and it looks kind of boring to you, and you sort of like, you're like, nah, whatever. But then it starts kind of glowing as soon as you touch it, and it kind of has this like faint glow of daylight that begins to grow brighter and brighter.
He picked some of that dried lizard out his teeth from several sessions ago with it.
So this is a dagger of daylight, and you can use one charge a day, or it has one charge. You can use that charge each day to cast the daylight spell.
Okay.
Ooh, daylight.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
light? Daylight?
No, daylight.
Oh, dope.
You got what was it? See, natural 20.
Natural
So okay,
20 with my guidance and my modifier 22.
okay.
That's it.
Roll me. I only care about the natural 20. Roll me 2 D100s, please.
Ooh. Okay. I'll roll these two together. Okay. A 12 and a 1. Oh.
A 1. Okay.
You find something and then you lose it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for the 1,
No, wait. No, 100 is 0.
yeah.
0, 0. Okay, yeah. 1.
For the 1, you find a drift globe.
Wah, 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 wah.
Because of course you do. For the
What's a drift globe?
it is the most classic D&D item, I think. The small sphere of thick glass weighs 1 pound. If you're within 60 feet of it, you can speak its command word and cause it to emanate the light or daylight spell.
Oh.
And you can also have it float. So it's a
Pretty
light.
useful.
Yeah.
I mean, daylight's good if you're fighting vampires.
Yeah.
I've already got the light cantrip and I have dark vision.
I rolled a 22.
22.
Hey, what about my 12?
I'm sorry, my apologies.
That's quite all right. The 12, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is a blue sapphire set in this sort of weird, like, kind of metallic holding. It's almost like a little ornament. This is a what's it called? An elemental gem. You may break the gem to summon an air elemental.
Is that the second one of those we
The
have?
first we know about. Declan has a fire one that he has not told us about.
Yeah.
I have all kinds of things you don't know
Didn't
about.
we get one from what's his name's place?
No, we have a Shasma and a black gem.
Okay.
We're gonna have fights in the pub and like bring all the audience in. Shasma versus elementals.
Yeah.
You will win.
That's how you fucking make your business there. Jade 22.
Yep.
That's a D100, please.
99.
Ooh.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. So you actually have to roll for this one. Okay. You find a oblong golden shield set with many precious gems. It's very light. It is a spell guard shield.
Oh, rad.
Dick and Declan.
Mm-hmm.
You are searching through this pile of rotted fish.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's got to be something good in the rotted fish.
and you're sort of like trying not to throw up in your mouth. And then you see...
I probably put some like smelling stuff like underneath, like for like autopsies, just underneath my
Yeah,
nose.
Declan's got an app for that, definitely. So, you reach down and you find this tiny, you find this really big fish, and you sort of move it aside, and then you're like, oh, that's weird. It's kind of like hard in the middle. So curiosity gets the better of you.
Pop that open.
You open out the fish, and what falls into your hand
Takes
is
66 damage.
yeah. What falls into your hand is something I was really hoping you weren't going to get. Yeah. Shit. Okay. This is a small platinum ring, and it looks super nondescript. And like pretty boring, to be honest. But there's just something about it that seems kind of special. And so you put it on, and you feel good.
Suddenly, I can see through time.
Yeah, a little bit. Or alternatively, you suddenly have resistance to acid damage. And you can move through solid earth or rock as if those areas were difficult terrain.
Cool.
If you end your turn there, you're shunted out to the nearest occupied space.
So I can move through it? Oh, right.
Yeah,
like,
so you can
walls. Okay.
yeah.
Move
You
through
can,
rock and what?
Solid earth and rock.
yeah. You can also cast stone-shaped stone skin or wall of stone. And you can cast Dominate Monster on Earth Elementals. It's a Ring of Earth Elemental command.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. And you can speak and understand Terran. You actually have to kill an Earth Elemental to get the other properties. That's good.
Okay.
So at the moment, you can just cast Dominate Monster on Earth Elementals.
So I don't get the resistance or
no, you'll have to look at it. It's page 190.
Okay, yeah,
So
I'll
look
look
at
at
that. You have advantage on attack rolls against Earth Elementals.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
Anything else?
If you slay, you can understand Terran. You can move in difficult terrain as if it's like rubble, rocks, or dirt, as if it were normal terrain. I'll include sand in there.
for the purpose of the campaign.
Absolutely. And so you put on the ring, and it's this kind of very boring ring. But as soon as you do, it turns to stone. It's not like it doesn't get thicker, but it's this like cracked sort of sandstone color on your finger.
Something new.
So he only gets the acid damage resistance and the spells after he's killed.
Yeah, after he's killed an earth elemental or helped.
I put the description in the chat for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Guess you're just never gonna find an earth elemental.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool. Well, enjoy that. Everyone
I
got
do.
a bunch of magic
Thank you.
items.
Whatever else.
In
happens, I'll
addition,
spend-
sorry, what was that question?
Whatever else we're doing while everyone else is like looking around, I'll spend an hour attuning to the sword as well.
Dope. Oh yeah, shit, the sword. Okay.
The moving through solid earth and rock is part of the you have to kill an earth elemental first.
Okay.
Shit. Okay, the sword is a +1 short sword with the additional effect of something that I cannot find. Here we are. So a sword has 3 charges. You can use an action to make the sword emit a eerie spellbinding tune or sound. Each creature within 30 feet of you that hears you play must succeed in a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or become frightened of you for a minute. If you wish, all creatures in the area that aren't hostile to you automatically succeed. A creature that fails the saving throw can repeat at the end of its turn. It is essentially Pipes of Haunting on a sword.
Sword of Haunting.
A sword of haunting.
Nice.
That is dope.
See, blade.
Exactly.
This is a very productive romp.
In addition,
We find the pot.
We find the item we came looking for.
Yeah.
you find the small.
The pot is in another castle.
The enamel thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not enamel. It's a golden plate set with these gems with like a scarab beetle motif that clearly fits in the spot on the front of it. It's sort of like just like a mini shape plate, almost like the boss on a shield.
Mm-hmm.
This is the piece that you're missing.
Anything else of note?
A lot of rotten fish, some gold. You find 227 gold pieces and 53 silver pieces.
Whoa.
That is not going to divide evenly. Damn it.
You will only get odd numbers from now on.
Hate you.
Does anyone know where I can find an earth elemental?
I have an air
make
elemental in this gym.
Don't think that's going to do it.
Could make a nature check with advantage.
Sure. Ooh, that's not bad. That was 16.
You see sand elementals all the time when you're out in the desert, and they're pretty earthy, and they're just you run into them every couple weeks.
They're not like sacred or anything.
Nah, they're dicks.
They're dicks. Okay. Nah, mate, they're dicks.
They're definitely like one of those things where it's like the minor people don't like to fight, but there's no consulting with a sand elemental because they're not like spirits. They're just like these kind of gooey creatures made of sand. They like to just come in and cover everything in sand and attack you, and they're just, like I said, dicks.
Makud, and he's literally just shifting one tall pile in one movement or something, and moving half the rubbish around the room, I imagine. Sometimes the sand comes alive.
Well, if it does, it seems that I have to fight it.
You will not be the first. They are not fun, from what I remember.
Do I have to defeat them like by myself?
No,
Yes.
so you have to have a hand in fighting it.
In a ring of fire.
If you help slay an earth elemental while attuned to the ring.
Got it.
That is 57 gold pieces to everyone and 13 silver.
57 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
Party fund.
Yeah.
So
I gave myself 56.
um
And
ooh.
then I took the extra silver to make up for that.
There's a thing I forgot to give you.
Give who?
Abrashmina, since you got the natural 20, you find a small scrap of paper, like kind of stuck with a dagger to the inner door jamb.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it's a list of a bunch of names. You see the names Edele, Halara, Angris, the Dalier, Evelar, Evelia, and Vidar Methena, Baron Bethric Yalessa, and Turian Sedarin. I'll write them all in the chat for you, don't worry.
Okay.
And the names, after a moment, you're like, damn, they're all important moon elves.
Sound pretty elfy. Are there any other like notations on the page, or just the listed names?
Just those. Actually, the name Evelar is crossed out.
Do we happen to know
What has happened recently with Evelar?
You can make a history check.
I rolled a 21 history.
I got a 22.
I will also say there's not much chance of Declan knowing, I'm afraid.
Oh, so the only reason I rolled it was because I had been in Ashar for a little while doing research on the city. But
Okay.
if you don't want to give it to me, that's fine.
Actually, I've just realized Thal would totally know what happened because he's the one who did it. So Thal will hear you mention that name and say, "Oh, yes, that was Abrish. Oh, that was Maya and me. We had to how do you say
Killed her.
he stole a very important object from the Nice Moon Elves, and we stole it back and had him arrested. So he is arrested.
And you believe that's why his name is crossed off?
Well, he's in jail. That is all I know.
That is
We've not-
the. Which name is that?
Evalar.
Evelar.
And you believe he is currently alive, then?
Yes, he's in jail.
Right. Interesting.
And he had stolen it from the Methenas, and they're good, so we helped them.
From the Methenas.
Yes.
They are good.
They are. They pay their slaves. I mean, not their slaves. They're not slaves anymore. They were slaves, but now they pay them. And they help the Six Eyes.
They help the Six Eyes, and they're on this list.
Yes.
Oh, I lost my accent. Whoops. they help the Six Eyes, and they are on this list.
Yes.
Mm.
All of these names are members of this group.
No,
No.
they are all moon
They're all
elves.
just moon elves.
I see.
These do I recognize any of the other names?
So Baron Bethric Yalessa, you would know.
Mhm.
He is probably the worst.
Yeah, to give it to me one more time. You cut out.
think he's gone.
Oh no. Guys, D&D Beyond is a great website where you can track all of your character sheets and your equipment and your magic items. I have already got my magic items equipped on my Abrashmina character sheet, and also all of my funds that we just got. And it's been like, took me like 30 seconds to do. D&D Beyond. Vote for Liam.
Oh yeah. So Jade, you made a Rakshasa buddy.
Ugh, I am sorry. Where did you hear me?
You said Baron Yelessa, he is bad, basically, and that was it.
Makud? You would know.
I know the two on that list.
Yeah.
So the Baron is what?
A dick, and he has 2 War Mage guards. And Thal would also say, actually, and this one, and he point to Angrus the Dallier, he is my father.
What?
What?
You are saying that Angrus the Dallier is your father?
Mm-hmm.
You are the son of one of the Moon Elves. Well, I suppose all the Moon Elves are in the palace.
Yes. He does not see me as his son, though. But he is my father.
So I think Makuda's rummaging around, and I presume you speak these names out loud because multiple people have responded. So he stops at the first name and kind of perks up and turns around like a little surprised, and then snorts aggressively at the last name and goes back to smashing piles of junk slightly
And
more
fish.
viciously than he did before.
Do I understand that Makud is upset?
I mean, he
Insight
doesn't
check.
really hide his emotions.
Yeah, that is me saying, do I need to insight check Makud?
Makud, do you recognize these names?
He thrashes around a bit more, just knocking things about a bit. And he breathes deep a few times, and the hackles kind of go up. Edele was my friend until Turlian. And I think he punches his fist through the wall of the shed. I imagine it comes away pretty easily.
Yeah.
What happened?
We were going to leave. She was going to be free. We all were. But then he took them. And he kind of snorts again. Nostrils kind of flare, and I think he pushes out the shed, presumably out the door, but maybe he could just take a wall off. And,
Yeah, no, he can. Yeah.
He just pushes down that side of the wall of the cabin and
Dexterity saves from everyone.
It might be held up by the piles of shit. I don't know.
So Makud's out of the room. I say it sort of to the remainder of the group.
So let me see if I'm getting everything right. Edele Halara is a friend of Makood's, formerly a slave. And she, among these other names on the list, are all moon elves.
Edele is not a slave.
They're all ruling moon elf types.
She is a. So this is Thal talking. He says
Yeah.
Edele is a moon elf.
No, I understand. I thought Makood had just said that she was going to be free.
She is how you say gilded cage.
Trapped by her position.
Thal kind of like blushes slightly and grins. He's like, she had naughty letters from a human, and she is, well, she was in love with the human, but then her them trying to escape, and Makood was helping, and so Makood.
I don't understand. Is she a prisoner or not?
She tried
yes.
to leave with the human lover. Makood was helping, and they were caught, and then she got basically separated from.
So it's not like she's a slave, but she can't leave if she wants to.
She's not allowed to leave anymore.
She's more of a prisoner than a slave. But she like still has rights, sort of thing, and like she's still on the council technically, just by virtue of being a moon elf.
These are the people that rule the city, correct?
Some of them.
Yeah,
There are a
lot.
Class,
There's like
but
a
they're
couple
not all
hundred.
rulers.
Yeah,
I see.
So all moon elves are on the council.
it's a
And there's like
caste
a few others.
system
Yeah.
for the elves. Just by being elf gives you, by being a full-blooded moon elf,
Gives you rights.
Rights.
Yeah. Whereas Thal is
Half.
Well, the question is now, what was our dear friend Duquesne, right? Doing with their names on his wall?
The only one that is crossed out is the one that is no longer in power.
Does seem to be the case. Oop, Rob's gone. Bye, Rob. Do we know anything about the guy, the Rakshasa's identity that he's been using? He's got allies, right? There's people that are working with him.
Yes. Did we learn anything else about Tukir?
nothing written.
No, I
Nothing,
mean
nothing you
like
find.
about his like
What do we know about that
his-
ego, that alter
his
ego?
entity or like his dealings in the city. And boy, am I glad that we didn't take a contract from someone who's
Because
from the Nine Hells.
Dylan in the chat was like, "Oh, yo, it's not enforceable." I was like, "I don't give a shit. He's a fucking like demon. He'll enforce that shit, bro."
That's hot. No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how you'd know anything else.
Well, I had done I think you had me do like a history check to see if I had recognized him before, but I didn't know if we had like a chance to like learn anything else about him.
Nope.
Who he dealt with.
No.
I mean, you guys don't even technically know he's a Rakshasa, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because someone doesn't like to tell anybody anything.
I mean, I'll tell you later. But now's not the time.
Very well. You've searched the cabin a bit more, but you don't find anything else of interest. Lots of rotten fish. Apparently, that's how he liked it. Maybe he was Icelandic.
Oh my god. You drove a long way for that joke.
I mean, I wasn't thinking it when I was coming up with the raw fish thing, but sure.
Subconscious genius?
The plane of hell he comes from is named after that volcano.
Yeah.
Pronounced.
Not no.
So no one can banish him back there.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard to understand. Is because it's in Infernal.
Yeah.
But unless there's anything else you guys would like to do, We'll fade to black on this scene.
On the way back, Bryn will sing the song about the Rakshasa that I'm not going to sing.
I disagree.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, essentially it details everything I've said. They're a Rakshasa, they have weird hands, they live in hell, they come back and find whatever they're looking for, no matter what.
And there's a verse about shape-shifting, yes? So this will explain why he was able to look like
Yes.
different people during all of that.
Sure, it's more like he wears other people's skins, though.
Ugh.
So anyway, we'll fade to black on that scene, and we say, "One day earlier" comes up in white text. You guys arrive back at the Mirage with Jura bound in your arms, and you take him down to the basement, I assume. Just as he's beginning to come to.
We are back in time now, right?
Yes. So this is before any of this happened.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I say we just leave him down here for a little bit.
I should be able to keep him sedated for the foreseeable future. So we wanted to kind of show him off and hand him into custody during the opening of the Mirage. So until that happens, he's got to be under pretty much constant guard.
Is
No?
that really wise to hang on to him for so long? Is he a wanted criminal who lets this garner us anything in the long run?
I believe we clarified that he is in fact a wanted criminal.
Not really.
Well,
No.
that's what I remember asking you specifically if he was, someone that the police want. You said yeah.
I might have done then. Well, it's the thing is
You
the
can walk that
scope
back.
of his.
Yeah.
No. I do remember something about that. The scope of his crimes are definitely not, as everyone understands. Like, people don't associate him with a preacher, sort of thing. So they probably want him because he set up traps and killed people and that sort of thing. But they don't
Sure.
know quite how bad he is
No, that's okay.
and
It's-
the shit he's involved with. But yeah.
We captured a crazy menace living in your sewer.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Arrest him for misdemeanors,
Right.
like killing.
There was a bounty for the creatures
an aspo.
down there. So
And this is the man who put the creature there.
exactly. But
Do we have proof of that?
Didn't I say we should bring the corpses up here?
we could.
I mean, proof that he put the creatures down there, that it wasn't somebody else?
Okay, draw them a picture.
Make him confess.
It would be a simple matter to bring a member of the constabulary below to show them that the sewers have been cleared. Which I suppose I could do while we await our opening.
What exactly do you hope to gain from holding him?
Well, as I thought we had discussed, I thought perhaps we would leave him with the 6 eyes. We could
Why?
turn him over to the police now, if we so wished, if we thought it was wiser.
And risk him going straight back to the preacher?
But do we believe that's a risk?
I didn't say the preacher would accept him back.
Why don't you be a little more direct in what you're thinking, Bryn?
Well, I don't think he is of any use to us.
So therefore,
We deal with him.
you want to execute him?
I mean, sir, Yeah, I want to execute him.
I'm afraid I won't let that happen. The man's a prisoner. If the city of Ashar decides that his crimes warrant execution, then that is the city of Ashar's decision.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, well, Do you have some reason you'd like to share?
Reason why I don't want...
Reason you don't think that would happen?
Why would they execute him?
Because he's a murderer.
Do we know that they're looking for him as a murderer? Do we have proof of that?
Isn't that what we were just discussing?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, though. Is like, I mean, we've not.
Yeah, there's
really
definitely a
seen it.
bounty out for his head, but it's not huge.
Well, then, for that amount of money, I seriously doubt they'll do anything more than put him in a jail cell to rot.
If that's his fate.
You're awfully comfortable with leaving a bunch of enemies at our back. And trusting that the goodwill that we're gaining is going to protect us.
It's not just trust, it's faith. One must have some.
Yeah, I really don't think you're doing the right thing here.
This is what we had discussed. If you now wish to renegotiate the terms of that, then that's fine, we can discuss it. But I'm not going to let you execute a defenseless man.
He would have killed you, you know that, right? He would have.
Just because a man engages in evil does not mean I am forced to commit evil of my own.
It's not evil.
Well,
It's
obviously,
it's self-preservation.
you don't think that immoral things can be done in the name of fear and self-preservation?
I absolutely know that they can be. But I just think it's foolish to sit here and trust a group. Our goodwill is going to protect us. You and I are outsiders in this city.
No, this is how we become part of the community.
A community that lets this happen, all of this happen, is not a community I really want to be a part of.
Perhaps we should interrogate the man before we decide his fate.
You mean you do not have killers and remoras in your sewers? I'm sure there are dangers wherever you go.
There are a number of horrible things in the sewers of Dethoin, I can assure you that.
Yes, do not forget that it is Lament where most of our slaves come from. Your city, Marak. It is not as squeaky clean as you like to pretend.
I really don't think you want to be reminding me of that.
And I do not wish that you continue to insult my homeland.
I'm not insulting your homeland. I'm just saying your homeland is just...
You most certainly are.
It's
and
just
if you wish
like
to
every
become my
land.
friend, perhaps you should start thinking of what you say before you speak.
It's not what I meant. All I'm saying is I don't really like the idea of just letting everyone go to run back to their master unless we send them back with a specific message.
What message is that?
That was just a hypothetical thing. You could just send them back with, send back parts of him.
I do believe you got angry at Declan for doing just such thing the other day with one of the preacher's men. Now you are suggesting that we do it with another?
No.
That is what you just said.
That was being sarcastic.
I think perhaps
not particularly helpful.
I think perhaps, Miss Bryn, you should perhaps start saying what you mean.
I think you should examine what you mean before you say it. You don't seem to have much of a plan other than you would like to murder this man.
Do you think we can get information from about the preacher from him? Get that information. Once we're done with him, eliminate him. Whether that be turn him over to the authorities, which I seriously doubt they'll do anything with him, or take matters into our own hands. That's the plan I think we should follow.
Which plan? I'm sorry.
What? The
Which
plan.
plan?
You didn't
You-
actually have a plan there. You just said we should do this or we should do this, and then we should do this.
We should get information from him. The plan is to get information from him, right? About his master
Sure.
by any means necessary.
I wouldn't go that far, but with
Well,
you
that's
about halfway there.
once we've done that, we can then decide if we want to, well, we can decide now if you really want to, whether or not we should take him to the police, right? Or to the authorities.
This is what our plan was all along.
Except for the fact, never mind. You know what? Fine, that's a good plan. Go with it.
You want to kill him when we are done with him. That is
Yes, that
made
is what
clear.
I wanted to do.
That has been made clear. But do
I
not
don't
say
want
that
an
we
enemy
do
at my
not ha-
back.
Do not say that we do not have plan because you do not like the plan that we have in place.
I never said I didn't like the plan.
You most certainly did.
I don't think we're going to get much from this man. He's clearly insane, but we should try nonetheless.
I actually agree with you on that one. I think it would be a wasted of effort, but
It's not wasted effort. I'm just saying the chances of success are low.
can I make a suggestion then?
Of course.
I don't think directly questioning him is going to give us the answers we want. I think we should invest our time trying to get him to perhaps accidentally give us information. When we approached him, he was rambling a bit. Perhaps we could get him to say things that he doesn't mean. Deprive him of his senses. You know, we could still
Sentient thought.
question. Yeah, we could just basically, we could engage in some minor information gathering activities, knowing full well we're not going to get it. I think that could work. Completely give him no sense of time, the passage of time.
What we believe we know about this man is that he is in either himself a fanatic or simply in the service to some religious power. Could we find a way, after some, as you say, prolonged period of isolation, sensory deprivation, a way to fool him into believing that he's with friends of some sort, to communicate something that might give us some insight?
We could perhaps pretend that the preacher has sent someone to assist his escape, lull him
Perhaps.
into a false sense of security.
Or perhaps someone has come to take his confession.
Perhaps. Actually, yeah, it's going to depend on whether or not he believes the preacher would come to rescue him or care about his soul.
So I have a bunch of books on preacherism. Could I look into see if I could find that we got from the library? Could I see if I could find something that might be of help in this plan,
Yeah,
like
so,
some
I mean,
tidbit of religious stuff that might help give us
You
something?
haven't found any books that are exclusively about his religion.
Oh, okay.
You find some that mention it, but only ever briefly in passing. Like it was a pretty fanatical religion back in the day, and now someone's bringing it back. So there's very little information on it. But you can make an investigation check.
All right.
Give it a shot from like 800 years ago or something, and
Yeah.
it disappeared.
Yeah. Okay, so that's an 18.
Yeah, you're not finding anything much new. You know that it's very much about like self-punishment and acknowledging that one is sinful and then paying for that sin in blood to give yourself access to a better life beyond this mortal pale.
Bryn, can you use illusions to disguise yourself?
I can.
Perhaps after some prolonged period, we could drug him. I could concoct some sort of concoction that would render his senses vulnerable to influence. And you could perhaps pose as one of the preacher's acolytes, here to come to take his confession, to hear his sins. And This may require lashings, I suppose.
All right. Some other form of penance?
It's going to get very dark.
So is he drugged at the moment, or is he just tied up, or
Yeah,
is he?
he's tied up and drugged at the moment.
Okay.
I would like to inspect his dimensional shackles to make sure that they are working properly.
Make an
If
investigation
I
check.
may. 16.
They appear to be working normally. So, are we going to let him wake? What's the exact plan here, please?
So we'll put him someplace like in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
If we can make it completely pitch black, basically down there, just
Stick
block
him in
out
a
all.
box.
Stick him in all. Sir, I mean, well, yeah, sure.
You definitely got like big boxes and stuff from deliveries of food and furniture and that kind of thing. So
Sure. Try to put him in some place that seems like he's there under punishment, right?
mm-hmm.
And then let's see. He's not an earth elemental, is he?
Investigate.
now.
Well, you don't have that
Haven't got
ring
the
yet.
item yet.
That's true. That's true. Don't have the ring.
Why BS?
Hate time travel stories. God damn.
Yeah. I mean, I just had some character like arc going, and now I have to like roll it back and go, Makud is, fine.
He loves the city.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just gonna put him in a
Yeah.
crate and let him wake?
Yeah, so I'm going to see for however long he's out. I'm gonna see if I can put together something equivalent to like sodium pentothal kind of thing, something to just loosen his tongue.
Okay.
You
Maybe
do
not.
have some very hallucinogenic mushrooms.
I do. If I have to, utilize my hallucinogenic mushrooms to some degree.
Okay. Make me a alchemy check.
Sure.
It is going to be a high DC.
Okay. Have guidance.
Yes. Thank you.
Ooh. Or you said it was the alchemy kit check.
Yeah.
So it's +6. 21.
Okay. You are able to make something that will help.
Okay.
It isn't going to be, a straight up truth serum,
Mhm.
but it makes him much more susceptible to things you might say. He is going to have like disadvantage on deception checks and is going to be less inclined to lie.
Okay. Sounds good. I guess we'll just wait.
You wait, and
So as part of my plan, though, I do want to like occasionally kind of like sneak down there and use my little like message ability that I have to kind of just like plant like you failed, your reckoning is coming, kind of messages in his and don't give him the opportunity to respond at all, and then just leave.
Yeah. So it's very weird, like reaching into a broken mind like that is a sort of fairly terrifying endeavor. It seems so much larger and wider and blacker than anything else, but also little bits of chaotic light and movement that just seem to sort of confuse and make things difficult. But you manage to sort of inset those images. And so who'd be like down watching, waiting for him to wake?
Declan will be down there with Bryn for sure.
Yeah.
Probably best if we're all there, just quiet.
I love the fact that you're like, this place is so awful, all of these people and they're not caring. We're just going to throw this guy in a box and drug him and then torture him. Mind magic.
So
Cood is at the bar.
Abrashmina is making a cool breakfast whiskey.
I mean, you would have literally no idea that she was doing any of that. She just
So-
goes
No,
down
I
there
know.
and looks at the
No,
box.
no, no, no,
Aw.
I
no.
know
Like,
Rakut isn't
but
judging. He just stays away
know.
from this stuff, but I just love.
It's
From
more
a
the
player
box concept.
Yeah, it's more the box.
Right, guys. Okay. Can I please say the thing I was trying to say?
No.
So, you hear his breathing begin to change, and slowly he begins to wake. And after about 5 minutes, that you think maybe he could be awake, you begin to hear little rhythmic scratches on the inside of the box, and he begins to sort of like say this kind of weird, like childish poem. And he goes, scratch, 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 scratch. The rat goes for the trap. Nibble, 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 nibble. Snap! And like he bangs the inside of the wall. And then he just keeps singing it over and over again, scratching the box the whole while.
I'll give Bryn a nod.
All right. Disguise self to look like a acolyte.
Okay. Why?
Why what?
Right now, he can't see you.
He's in a box.
Yeah, we're gonna let him out.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
I thought we were letting him out. Or I'm just gonna sit there.
I thought the
Oh,
whole
alright.
thing was
Talk to
the
him through
sensory
the- talk to him
deprivation
through the
thing.
box.
All right. No, we're not gonna let him out then.
Yeah, talk to him through the box.
Okay. What do you
You
say?
gotta pretend to be a Shari.
Crazy. All right. I'll walk up to the box.
Mm-hmm. He's just singing a song and scratching.
Little rat, reckoning is here.
The scratching stops, and he goes silent, and he's holding his breath.
You have failed him. He is very angry.
Maybe. But he knows. He knows.
He knows what?
He knows I'm trapped like a little rat.
He sent me to you to offer you a way out.
Make a deception check.
With advantage?
I will say yes, because of that concoction you made.
Uh, 23.
So he kind of like hums a little bit. The rat trap goes snap.
Can I insight check him?
Yeah.
26.
Dude's fucking crazy.
Does he believe that we are the preacher's agents, perhaps, or no?
He does, but he also doesn't seem to be that interested.
Gotcha.
And he says, the traps come for little old Jura. Snap, snap.
He knows you're lost. He knows your time will soon be at an end. He wants to see you to the next life. Penance paid in blood.
What? What does he want? The voice has definitely got a different cadence now. Her words seem to have focused him slightly.
He needs to know what you know of his enemies that have arrived in the city.
Oh,
You failed to stop them.
They were fast little mice. Sneaky, 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 sneaky. They came into my traps. They came, and then they took their cheese and they left.
Why did you fail?
Well. Oh, sorry, I was about to sneeze there. Oh, God. Oh, that couldn't have come at a worse time. He says, well, they had very, very pointy little claws and bitey little teeth.
You swore to him you wouldn't fail.
But so did Colo, and look where Colo is.
Colo was a fool to think he could ever. You and I both know that.
Colo is a fool. Oh, he comes with the little people. But that's not what he wanted. And now he's going to be snapped.
Where did Colo come to?
You don't know? You didn't
I'm
hear
seeing
me
if
yet?
you know. I haven't heard yet.
Oh, it is a funny story. Colo was tiptoeing all the way to find some juicy, juicy little mice. But then the mice bit back. Nibbles.
He wasn't prepared for this.
No, it was two mice. Two mice that got him. Oh,
Only two.
the preacher is not happy. Little Colo had to run away and get some different slaves.
He
Little
better
ones-
hurry back.
Little ones from north. And now he's bringing them here. But the preacher wants to snap him.
Can I tell you a secret?
Hmm.
I think he should.
Oh, yes. Yes, he should
I'm
snap.
gonna write on just a pad of paper in our common tongue. Where is he bringing them? And show it to Bryn.
I think that I should help the preacher snap Colo.
Oh, yes.
Where can I find him? Where is he bringing the little ones?
That's not for me to know.
Insight check.
Yep.
Oh, 18.
You think he's telling the truth. You don't think he really knows. But you also think that like he definitely is withholding something.
Mm.
Like he maybe doesn't know, but he knows how to know, that sort of thing.
Mm.
He's telling half truths.
So I'll look to Bryn and just kind of wiggle my hand back and forth, like, that's kind of true.
You don't know. Who would know?
Ooh. Well, a couple little men would know. They whisper like little monsters.
Who?
Silly little Keesma. Oh, or Tembrin. Tembrin would know. So would Kisma. Kisma and Tembrin, they would know. The little rats. They always know.
We're going to snap him.
Mm. Kisma, he knows everything. He knows where Kolo is. If you talk to Kisma, you can snap Kolo. And then you can snap Kisma.
Both of them. The preacher will surely reward me.
Yes. And when they're all snapped and broken, that's when they're the fattest and the juiciest.
I'm sad it's going to end like this.
I'm not.
He said you were his favorite. He's
No,
sad that you failed him.
I'm not his favorite.
Are you sure?
Oh, I know. I know his favorite. It's not me. But that's okay. I don't need to be his favorite. I just need to keep
He
trapping.
told me you were his favorite. Who is his favorite then?
Make another deception check.
That is a 22.
His favorite. He likes Own. He never goes anywhere without her. I would so love to snap her, but I know if I snap her, then I will get in trouble.
I'm going to write on a piece of paper again. More about the preacher. ... Power ?
He never goes anywhere without her, but that doesn't make her his favorite. Just the most useful.
You just hear him kind of heavy breathing inside, but he's waiting to see if there's a punchline to what you're saying.
She knows the truth of things.
She does. He listens to that truth. Like the scritch, scritch, scritch of a spring.
She twists her visions. Tells him what he wants to hear.
You should be careful speaking this way. He will snap you too if you're not careful.
I mean, who's going to tell him? You?
Maybe.
It's not like he can hear me here.
Oh, that's no problem.
I don't believe you.
Well, you don't need to believe me. That's okay. She hears me. She believes me.
Who hears you?
I just said.
The Oracle?
Oh, she's a smart little rat.
I'm the smartest. Can I tell you a secret?
Oh, I like secrets.
I took this job to come see you, to find out what you told the Northerner.
I want to snap her.
Snap the Northerner?
I want to snap them all.
Oh. Any? Oh, yeah. But the secret is I'm going to be the preacher's favorite.
Ooh, that is a fun game.
Do you want to help me?
No.
I will push the thought in his mind. Yes.
How does that work?
Well, he will just hear the my voice in his head say, "Yes,
Okay.
you want to help."
You can speak like she can speak. Maybe you are. Maybe you could. Oh, the little thought rats fight.
I need your help.
Jura doesn't help. Jura doesn't help. Jura only snaps. That's what Jura does.
I'm going to snap. I'm going to snap her, but I have to find her.
Oh, to find her, find the preacher. Find the preacher? Well, good luck.
You don't even know where he is.
Nope. I don't. He doesn't tell me. He doesn't tell me. He doesn't tell me. And do you know why? Because I don't need to know.
Then how do you get his orders?
Oh, isn't that fun? Tembrin. Tembrin brings his orders. Tembrin takes them away. That's what Tembrin does. I want to snap Tembrin, but if I snap Tembrin, he won't keep bringing messages, and I like the messages. But I want to snap him, I think. Snap him messages, snap him messages, snap him messages. It's so hard.
I could snap him.
But then you wouldn't get his messages.
I need to find Tembrin to get his messages. Does he know where the preacher is?
Tembrin? Maybe. He brings the preacher's messages, so someone knows. Someone knows. Someone knows where to lay the trap to snap.
It's a place to start.
But remember, if you snap the oracle, the preacher will snap you. Remember when he snapped the last little rat? He punched and 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 punched until all that was left was a little bloody circle. I wanted to lick it, but I also liked watching him punch and punch and punch. He was so upset.
The preacher came to you?
No, the preacher doesn't come to me. I went to him.
Where did you go?
Oh, wouldn't she like to know? Wouldn't she like to know?
Voice in his head. Tell her now.
Oh, sneaky little voices. There's so many. So many. I went into the desert. I was following Tembrin. But I had to keep my mask on.
You peeked, didn't you?
Maybe?
Oh, I know you peeked.
Well, little rats like little holes.
What did you see?
There was a cave and a little river under the ground. And lots and lots and lots of bricks and bricks and bricks.
And that's where he snapped the little rat.
Scritch, scratch, scritch, scratch. The rat comes across to the trap. And you begin singing the song again.
Sort of look up at Brandon, give her a nod.
I'll message Declan. I think that's all we're going to get from him.
Can I reply?
Yeah, I'll just make it so you can reply.
Nibble, 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 snap.
I
He's
agree.
just singing.
I will sedate him again. He's still bound in the shackles.
Yeah.
So I guess we should go upstairs and talk about finally what we're going to do with him. But yeah, I'll pop the cage open and sedate him. I'll just kind of lift the cage up and make eye contact.
Yeah, and his eyes are just like wild and staring, and he like has this sort of like hideous face that like almost looks like he's shrieking, and you just like the injection, he just like slumps forward immediately.
Good night, my friend. Tap on the top of the crate. And just for good measure, I'm gonna nail the crate shut.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'll go upstairs.
Okie doke. Can we take a quick 5-minute break there?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
How is everyone doing for time?
I can play for another like 45 minutes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
Oh man.
That was like 2.5 pages of
Dude,
insane nonsense.
I had to take a break after that. So here's the thing with okay. So okay, here's the thing with that encounter was basically I knew the information he was going to give, and I knew he was going to be insane about it, but that's all I prepared. And I had to sort of delve into my own madness there, because that was pretty much all off the top of my head, except some of the key points, like the song and the scratching and all that. I had no idea I was going to do that until about 5 seconds before I started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I just had to take a quick break and regain my sanity for a moment. That was kind of it was a weird experience. Super fun, though. Oh, my God, that was enjoyable.
Very cool.
I mean, I didn't notice any difference, but okay.
Oh.
That cackle.
Yeah, I know. That's totally not based off my mother's laugh.
Oh my.
To be honest, she has a laugh kind of a cross between me and Jura. It's not a great laugh, I'll be honest. Sorry, Mum. But yeah, that was fun.
That was great fun.
Man, I planned this session to be mostly the opening scene of the bar, but this is good.
Nope.
I've had that prep for about 4 weeks.
We'll probably get to it next week.
I mean, I'm assuming not. Like, this week is just going to go on infinitely and never stop.
We just got to kill him.
That's kind of why I missed the like 5.5 hour sessions from Keep, like back at the start. Because like if there's something we needed to get to, we could fucking get to it.
We're just taking this week a day at a time. Day
Hell yeah.
per session.
I'm playing it in real time, like that one keep session where you just had a conversation and then went home.
4 hours of planning for war.
Hell yeah.
But did we win that war? Oh yes, we did.
Also, 4 hours seems like not very much to plan an entire war.
No.
But it was really like
Technically, it was a battle.
in game.
Hey,
Hey.
did I miss anything?
Most
long
of
have you
just
been
been
gone?
talking about that last encounter.
Huh? Oh, I was gone whenever we said we're going on break.
Okay. I was going to say there was this whole interrogation thing that you
Oh,
weren't
yeah,
with.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
Is
just
Jade
telling.
flipping out that he just said that the Oracle's the Kalistar?
Defo didn't say that.
I mean, that's what I picked up.
I mean,
Nope.
can Abrashmina whisper in people's minds at a distance?
Nope. Well, I suppose.
I mean,
That
there's
means to get a message. Or
Yeah,
sending.
sending.
Like, or be a ghostwise halfling or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, fine.
But yeah, no, I was just saying, like,
one warlock.
I only had like what he was going to say, like the key points. I didn't have any of the weird mad shit prepared, except that he was going to be mad. So I just sort of got a little bit insane myself there.
It was nice.
Not sure I'll get to sleep tonight, but apart from that,
it's fine.
it's like that fucking song. I'm still like running it over in my head over and again. Anyway, let's talk about something else. So you're going upstairs to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. On the way up, I'll just kind of, sort of nudge Bryn and say, well, seems like we can accomplish things without mutilation. Well done.
Time and a place for everything. I understand this.
Chuckle.
As they go upstairs, Abarashmina is like making Makud like a pitcher-sized devil's church.
What's a devil's church?
It's rum and tequila and like orange. Oh man, it's a cocktail, but she's making him like a mug-size version of it
So
because she's trying to teach herself bartending.
I mean, when you said you were making breakfast for him, I was like bacon and stuff, and then you
breakfast whiskey,
I did say breakfast whiskey.
Oh, I just heard breakfast,
which is a thing.
Oh.
Breakfast whiskey is just whiskey like served like a Bloody Mary, but instead of a celery stick, it's a rasher of bacon. Sounds pretty good, actually.
I've got a devil's horn cocktail.
I'm trying to find it.
Are you sure this won't damn my soul?
I am quite sure. It is just meant to be delicious.
Just
It's
coffee.
rolling out.
Makud, make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 11.
It's fine.
The berserker axe slowly is unsheathed.
This is the worst cocktail I have ever had. Prepare to die.
So, party convenes upstairs.
Well, we've gained quite a bit of new information. Now the question is what to do with our manacled friend.
Such. Are you just like doing the whole? We tell them what he said.
Yeah,
type
please,
thing?
can we?
Yeah, we're gonna fast forward. This is all the information.
Plot vomit.
So he said scritch and then he said scratch.
He did say that.
Scratch
a
then
great
scratch.
deal. There was much scritching and much scratching, but in between the scritching and the scratching, he did manage to give us some valuable information.
Yes, about this schisma in the Tambrin. We do not know if it's Tambrin, yes? I do not recognize the name, but schisma is the official at the dock that the other preacher man mentioned.
Might be a good place to start. He did seem to think that the dock official knows Anything worth knowing?
Can I have the name Kisma and Tambourine?
Quizma
Yeah.
is Quizma.
I knew I recognized it, but
They're in
And-
the chat.
the Kisma one, yeah.
Tembrin is Tembran. That is not how I was going to spell it. So thank you.
Rob always spells things weird, so
It's
You know,
fancy.
Okay. There's fucking elves. There's allowed to be non-standard spelling. Let's just cool our jets, okay?
But according to Quizma, Kodo is going to be out of commission for a month at sea.
Not according to Kizma.
No, well, according to what the preacher told us, or the preacher man told us,
You haven't spoken.
Kolo will. Yes, thank you for interrupting me twice while I was trying to say my sentence. But yeah, according to the man we already spoke to, Kolo will be gone for a month before he returns to the Shah. So we have a month to investigate and prepare. Perhaps we can find this Tembrin.
Agreed. I believe it's a good place to start. Now, if we don't mind, I would like to be able to discuss what to do with our prisoner. If I can offer a suggestion. I believe... Sorry?
You wish to turn him into the constables.
I do, but we should do so in a specific way, I believe. Simply dropping this man at their doorstep will not make our case to anyone. I think first things first, we should compile as much evidence, written and otherwise, as we can, and bring it to the senior-most official representing the police force here in Shah, and turn this man in for the small bounty on his head. But while we are there, share what we know of the preacher and his conspiracy in the city with those whose duty it is to enforce the law.
I would agree with you, Declan. Unfortunately, we do not have any written evidence. It is all here.
I present my notebook in which I write and draw everything.
Well, that is what you have written. That is not necessarily written proof.
It is eyewitness testimony to which I will have to swear if ever called upon. It can be corroborated by bringing some of the constables to places we have been, showing them the trapper's formerly inhabited den, his trap sprung. We could arrange interviews with slaves that have been freed. Anyone else we've helped over the last... How long have we been in Shire? A month now?
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting for about a month.
But I think the slaves that we've helped free
They
have
are
all
gone.
been sent. They've all been sent away.
Is there anybody...
Corroborate your story. It would be Murin and his sister Tira. They are
willing.
still in the city.
If they are willing, then yes, I believe we should ask them.
I believe that Tira would do anything for you, and perhaps Murin would do anything for Tira. It was enough to bring him from... He was doing work for the preacher, and it was mention of his sister that brought him to your door.
That's right. Well observed. So, if we bring the trapper for the bounty, we can then begin to share what we know, and then if whatever senior official we are able to engage is willing to follow us on a brief trek around the city, we could illustrate whatever points need to be made at the time.
So Bryn's gonna shoot Abrashmina a look and all right, I'm going to be very careful about the next point that I make. But are we sure that the local authorities are not in the pocket of the preacher?
We are not. It's obviously something that I have considered. It is not unusual in any part of the world for powerful people to infiltrate certain levels of society in important positions. And I would certainly not put it beyond the powers or the abilities of the preacher. However, even in the most far-reaching conspiracies, it's very difficult to operate all levels of society in such a way. There might be some who could leak information to the preacher, but I very much doubt that those in the highest positions would be in his pocket. Though, of course, we do run that risk.
And we feel that that is a risk worth taking.
The alternative is the thing that lets the preacher operate so well is that no one knows he exists. I did not know of his existence until so I think there might not be the resolution that you're hoping for right away. There has to be some effort made by letting it go unspoken. We only strengthen his position.
Perhaps that ignorance is bought and paid for.
There is no way of knowing that until we actually try.
This will be the best way to expose that, Bryn. If, come a week from today, the trapper has been freed, or there's some other evidence of information having leaked, then we know that the police have been infiltrated.
That's actually a very good point.
It is not, you can worry as much as you want, but until you actually try, there will be no way of knowing if your worry will be true.
Declan's taking a moment to say, I'm sorry, did you just compliment me? I think that's a first. Sorry to interrupt.
Me?
No, Bryn.
I was going to say I compliment you often.
You do. I believe that was the first acknowledgement I've gotten from Bryn that I'm not a complete idiot.
I'm not without reason. It's either way, we will have our answers, right? We know we can trust the authorities in this town, or we know that we can't trust these authorities in this town, and it'll be easier to come to these decisions in the future.
Aborishmina nods. It is the expecting work from the elves that we will not get. We are, unfortunately, not elves. So,
however, we do have evidence of what could be a conspiracy against the elves.
Not yet.
Oh, no, we don't have that at all. Never mind.
Not yet.
Sorry.
Timey-wimey bullshit.
I actually blame all of this timey-wimey bullshit on Dan, so.
But
it's a multiverse.
It is because, the elves, these are human affairs. They care not for most of us in that way.
Well,
as far as they are concerned, they wait a few decades. The preacher will solve problems himself.
I have an instinct that the more we uncover, the greater the stakes become, the more likely the elves will have to entangle themselves at some point.
At some point. I do not believe we are there yet.
No, but perhaps later today.
And who knows what tomorrow might bring. There was this very strange man that came in while you all were down there.
Maybe he'll come back.
There is a very strange man who will come in tomorrow morning. Yeah. That's
do we want to go through the whole delivering the guy to the cops, or if we're going to put 20 minutes?
We don't have to go through it, but what's the exact plan here?
Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
I believe, from what we just discussed, that it is we take him. Declan is going to present his findings. He's going to offer himself up as character witness, perhaps travel if he needs be. Mm-hmm. And he also has Murin and Tira to help substantiate his story. And maybe we get someone from the XIII to also help, because they have some agents, I'm sure.
We might be able to get Sharat to agree to be like, since he's on the council, to be like, even if, to be a public advocate.
Or at the very least feel like, this guy's not lying, we should listen to him type thing.
Yeah. So you take him up, and at first the guards are very much willing to just be like, they sort of open the ledger, see the picture. Yeah, fine, here you go. hand over 250 gold pieces to you and kind of take them off your hands. And as you try and sort of explain this story to them of who he is, they sort of frown, kind of scoff a little bit.
I'll be looking for insight on these guys to see if this is ringing any bells. Like, are you
Absolutely.
saying?
Brashmina too. Oh, no. That's a 17.
19.
You guys get the impression these guys are pretty low-level mooks. They don't really care. They are sort of like, they don't want the extra paperwork and sort of legwork that would come with your story being true, so they're inclined not to listen to it, and they're happy that they can just kind of cross his name off of their books.
Is it at all possible that McCood could kind of spin it in a more interesting way, talking about the champion of the arena that they no doubt have found, like wrestling Ramirez in the sewer, and then like describe the fight and like try sell it to them?
Make me a persuasion check.
I do kind of love that.
He is shit at persuasion, as in all charisma skills, but I just want to see if it works.
With advantage.
Well, maybe Bryn can make that with advantage from you.
I was going to say, do you need a hype man?
McCood can do this one if he's telling the story.
Okay.
63 gold to everyone. Thank you.
From the 250?
Yes. I took 61. You guys got 63.
Excellent. 11. Actually, fuck it. I've had an inspiration that I've been holding for almost all of this game so far. Oh boy, 17. The heady heights of 17.
Okay. You begin to tell this story, and they sort of turn and like look back and see kind of Amar Utu and your kind of booming voice, and their eyes kind of go a little bit wide, and they kind of glance at each other. Okay.
It's the mighty Amar Utu.
They lock away the prisoner, and they sort of hear out your story. And one of them's kind of taking notes, and
we desperately need to speak to your superior.
They say, he's not available at the moment, but we can give this to him when he gets back, maybe, and we will have him contact you as soon as possible.
Of course. And
that
you can
would
give
be
him...
a 20 for my insight for that one.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Also a 20.
Yeah. Same story. These they're kind of blown away by the magnitude of this story and the way that you've told it, and the like kind of star power that Makud has.
I'll write in Ashari the mirage and the date for the opening, and say members of the constabulary will drink free this night, and slide it over.
Oh boy.
I know. It's going to be a route. Don't worry, though.
Oh, man.
This is a really good way to spend our money.
No. Yeah, just the cops drink, man.
Oh, no, I know, yeah. They also love people who give them free drinks.
Yeah. Wow.
I would also kind of like to think that McCood, like, that wasn't like a shrewd plan of his. He was just like, no, you are telling this story wrong. And then, like, moves
You
forward
have no sense of drama.
Yes. Where's the showmanship?
So, with that, you guys return home, have a strange adventure involving spiders, beetles, and rakshasas.
Does that mean the beetle followed us onto the boat and then out the boat?
Yeah.
Then the rakshasa fight and then back off again?
Actually, the beetle didn't get on the boat because he was too slow and you left before, so he was just walking along the floor of the oasis.
And then I guess he saw us going back again.
And then walking back again, yeah. So he'll show up in a couple of days.
So I would like to, if there's time, go to the 6 eye of the butcher shop.
Okay.
And talk with Sherrod if he's there.
He is.
Okay.
He welcomes you in. Offers you some wine.
None
What
for
can
me.
I do for you, my friend?
Well met. So we have trapped the trapper, and we've delivered him to the constable. In a few days' time, we will be hosting a grand opening for the Mirage, which we've purchased. You and any member of the 6 Eyes are more than welcome to attend. But specifically, if we could have you there in your official capacity as a city council member, my hope is that we were going to have a number of the constabulary there as well, and hopefully some of the higher-ranking lieutenants. Our hope is that you can help us to convince the law in this town of the justice of our cause and our sincerity.
And so I imagine you sort of explain everything to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, I'll do my best to be there. However, I would say that the captain of the guard, he is, well, he is somewhat proud. His name is Hamid al-Muradi.
The kind of man who doesn't take kind to vigilanteism, then.
More the kind of man who does not take kind to being summoned.
Well,
And
it was not so much of a summons as an invitation to drink for free.
oh, of course, I understand that, but I am not sure he will see it that way. However, if you like, I could pay him a visit. I have known him for a number of years.
Your advocacy
Because
would
I'm
be
on the
valuable.
council. All right. Would you like to be there when I pay him a visit, or?
If you would allow it, yes, of course.
I would, though I do not know if he will be as open with a stranger there, but I'll leave that to your discretion.
This is a new phase for me personally. I've lived my life in the shadows for a long time. But I don't believe that approach will work, as I've explained to you in the past. So being known and being trusted by the good people of Ashar is essential.
Very well. Then I shall bring you along and introduce you. But it may have to wait a few days.
That's fine. The only other thing I came to request of you is that if you have any contacts within this particular police office, the one we dropped off at the trapper at, if you have any way of ascertaining whether there are leaks in that department, whether there are people that might be trading information to agents of the preacher, to anyone else, if you could keep us abreast of any information you may hear in that regard.
I will have Shamur look into it.
Thanks. You know my squabbles, but I would like to offer, in exchange for the invaluable services you provided us, a service of my own. So long as you do not request of me anything you know that I will personally be unable to do, I would like to be able to return this favor to you someday.
That is gracious of you, Declan. I will keep that in mind.
Again, I thank Sherrod. I do hope we see you at the opening.
I will do my best.
We've
Great.
got quite a lot of liquor.
And
Downtime things.
yeah, so what I would like to do before anyone else is something with Abrishmina. So one of the nights, maybe the night after Dukia, you head up to sit on the roof for a bit and look at the stars. You do it fairly often, I imagine. And as you sit there, there's sort of a slight kind of sparkling energy beside you, and you turn to look. You see Ramiel's form begin to sort of appear before you. He's got that long kind of aquiline nose, 5 o'clock shadow, mostly shaven head. If he was standing up, he'd be about 10 feet tall. and he's got these big wings made of the night sky that are sort of folded beneath him. He's extremely handsome, like chiseled, kind of square jaw. He looks like he was sort of painted as part of a heroic mural. And he sort of turns to you, and he just kind of regards you for a moment. Brishmina.
It is good to see you.
It is good to see you too. How are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yes.
I am well enough, I suppose.
I am glad you have grown further away from the temple. That place has lost its connection to he who watches. It is a blighted, swollen place. Your connection grows stronger the longer you stay away. I am proud of you.
I do not feel as though I have done much, but I appreciate the praise.
Eventually, you'll come to realize what I mean. It is a different, unusual path, yours, but whichever road you take, it will lead you south. And that way, I think you'll find what I'm saying to be true.
May I ask? You
Of course.
visit me because I am different than the others, yes? This is not something that happens to all clerics of He Who Watches.
You are like me, or like I was when I was alive. Our kind are different, and we are not really human, but we are not inhuman. We are more connected, and that is why I am here. I am your guide. I had a guide, and you will become a guide. That is our path to follow.
One day I will be as you.
You will, for a time. But eventually we all pass into the Nightlands.
Who are you before?
I was Ramiel. And you see him almost get like a little bit bashful. And he says, they called me Ramiel of the White Cliffs.
Do I recognize the name?
You can make a history or religion check with disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage. Ooh, 12.
No, you've never heard of that.
You are from Ashar?
I was similar to you for a time. But I was more interested in fighting. And so that is what I did. I fought everyone. I fought my way out of the temple. And then that is when my guide came to me as I came to you. And then I fought for a cause.
Who did you fight for?
He who watches. balance, equality, the natural course of life. I did not fight with anyone. I fought alone. I died alone. I was only alive for 28, 29 years. But I lived a good life. I did good. And this is my reward, to help you do the same.
Do you know what my purpose is meant to be?
I can't tell you that. If I did know, I would not tell you either. It is yours to discover. But your purpose, I suppose, is the same as all of ours. To serve life. And to make sure it passes naturally. Balance. Always remember that. I forgot it for a time. But life is about balance.
Balance.
He nods. I will fight alongside you again soon, but remember Abrishmina. Your road will take you south, and there you will find more answers. Though I feel I may get into trouble for telling you that. And puts a hand on your shoulder. And if you don't say anything, he will vanish.
Yeah. She just kind of like stares up at him as he fades.
Yeah. Bryn and Makood. What are you bros doing?
Do you want to go first, Jade, or are you doing something with Bagood?
I don't.
First
I
up
mean,
conversation.
Drinking.
Makood,
Drinking.
each morning you wake up, you find that the beetle is on your chest.
Me? Her?
You.
Me. Okay. Hello, little friend.
You find that, like, when it curls up, it basically forms like a perfect dome. And you also find it's really hard to, like, lift up if it doesn't want to be lifted. Like, it's fine with being lifted off you, but, like, if it's on the floor and someone tries to pick it up, like, it can hold on really, really well.
Like a limpet.
Yeah. And several people probably trip over it, like Tolox, the little wizard. He just trips over it every few minutes.
Well, I get up. It can either be attached to my chest or it can get off, but I can walk around with it.
So, Makood, I've got a little encounter for you as well, actually.
Oh, God.
If you'd like it.
Do I have a choice?
Makood, no. There's a brief period, maybe half an hour or so, where you're alone in the bar. Everyone's kind of busy having meetings or, you know, discussing things about deities. And
talking demigods and stuff.
yeah, you know, as you do. And a man walks in. He's wearing steel plate armor, intricately carved, but it's like sleeveless. There's fur linings at his shoulder, and it ends in this leather and steel kilt that armors the top of his legs. He wears these heavy pointed boots, which are also fur lined. And he carries a long scimitar in his belt and a round shield on his back. But you immediately recognize him as something you haven't seen since you were a boy. He is a hobgoblin, which you've never seen in a Shah, but you know that there's a small group of them who live in the desert. He has a scar running across his kind of bestial red face. His head is shaved except for a long braided ponytail that travels down the center of his head like a mohawk, ending at his waist. And he like approaches you and kind of stands at attention. He's about 6 feet tall, like very well muscled, clearly a warrior. And he says, "Sun greet you, sir." And he like inclines his head towards you. For context, like they are very honorable people. Makud would know also that they never lie, this tribe of hobgoblins. And they like consider honor and truth like highly important to their culture.
Makud like gets up from the bar stool and stands. Does he like when he say "Son greet you, sir"? Does he have like a fist across the chest type?
No, just an incline of the head.
Okay, just inclines head. Makud does the same, and it warms your back.
He sort of like kind of gives you like an appreciative nod, and he says, "I am here in search of work." I owe a great deal of money to one of the Shals, and I must find work to repay it. If you have anything for me, if you are in need of a sellsword, if you are in need of a pair of hands, I would be grateful. I had heard that one of your kind had opened a place here. I knew I must find it.
He kind of like just kind of like narrows his eyes, not like out of distrust, more like concentrating. You heard of this place, and you would leave the sands to come to the city?
I am not welcome with my tribe anymore.
Okay.
He says, "My people, the Avraim, we are honest people. I found that there was a man who had been with my wife, and so I killed him. Because I did not wait for his judgment, I was banished. I do not regret my actions, but I miss my son."
Makud like puts a large hand on his shoulder. And like looks around. I don't know if he's drawn anyone else's attention.
No, so I sort of set it up because you were sort of the only one in here to begin with.
Sure, that's fine. A great many people are indebted to the Shals.
Yes.
He kind of like flicks one horn, and the freedom amulet thing like glints in the sun. Some of us work for the freedom, and we find it.
I was captured, much to my disgrace, and forced into slavery. I was purchased by Shal al-Banur, and as is his custom, allegedly, he freed me on the condition that I pay double the cost of my price. I took that chance, but it is hard to find work, being of my kind. We have not had an easy relationship with humans.
Um, he kind of like looks seriously at him because who has really? Even other humans, who has? And he's also like a little melancholy about the banish of the tribe thing. He doesn't really remember all that much, especially having just tasted the desert.
Another, in fact, sorry, make me a quick history check, please, with advantage.
Wow, natural 20 with advantage.
Damn. Okay.
-2.
So one thing you distinctly remember is this like tribe was kind of rolling past one time is like they were master sort of trainers. They had these huge great like pack beasts, and overhead there were indeed trained wyvern scouts, like ridden by hobgoblins who would like rear them and kind of train them as mounts to help them kind of scout the area, look for water and such.
I mean, he was going to let him in anyway, but no, like then.
Yeah, but they had those. They had like runners, like every animal they like trained, and they were generally like good folk. They got on well with your people and the Sulvma. Like just pretty upstanding. But like there may be like the sort of one group who the Minotaurs were like, let's really make sure we don't get in a fight with them. You know what I mean? Like they are formidable.
So hand's still on shoulder, and he kind of like drifts off and remembers this possibly when he was, 6 or 8 or something. And he like grabs him by the other shoulder as well, and goes, "You train the wyverns, don't you?" And his
eyes sort of widen slightly, and he kind of like flicks one of his ears, and he says, my people do. I have done so in my life, yes.
I have several, more than several, many.
You have wyverns?
I have wyverns. I remember them as a child. They sometimes fly over the city. I now have 5.
5.
And he like counts it out on his fingers or something. 5.
He's holding up 6 fingers.
Yes, probably.
That is amazing.
They are small.
I would very much like to see them.
There are 2 here, and the others are somewhere else. They are small, so we have the space for them now, but we need more. We need more space and more wyverns.
Yes.
Where and it's Tollux, isn't it? Is the mage who was looking after them.
Suri has the other. Luri has the other ones.
Yes. Come. That little man is around here somewhere, and he almost like drags him along to go look for Tollux and where he's put his wyverns.
And the hobgoblin kind of stops, like he doesn't go straight away, and so you sort of turn back to look at him and he says, I must ask, do you intend to employ me?
He turns like almost like because he's like stopped his momentum.
Yeah.
Like he like turns and like looks at him with like his head cocked a little bit and goes, "What is your name?"
My name is Jari.
Are you related to Jaru?
Charlie, if you will give me the strongest wyverns in the city, then I will give you. And he kind of like can't quite like he doesn't know what is a good amount of money, and he just goes this and like gives him like 100 gold.
His eyes go wide, and he sort of like bows his head again, and he says, "Thank you, sir. That is that. Thank you." And he sort of like he seems extremely flustered by this amount, and he says, "Would you show me the wyverns? We must
And he
begin
like
training."
roars Tolux and probably like shakes
There's a squeak.
place.
He comes in, trips over your beetle.
That is mine too.
Yes, the long walker.
You know it.
I actually have to wrap up, so I figured that was probably a good point for me to just say a quick
Oh,
goodbye
okay,
to
man.
everybody.
Yeah,
You guys can feel free to play, but I gotta run.
We'll just do a couple like whatever downtime encounters this involves. Cool. Cheers, man. Thanks for
Bye,
playing.
guys. Great session.
Bye.
Thanks, man. Bye bye. And he says, "Yes, I of course I know. Our people kept them as what's it called, as ways to find home. You would strap one to your back, take it out scouting, and when you found water, you would release it and it would walk back to its bonded master. Then we could simply follow the footprints to find our way back."
He kind of like listens to that story and like nods along, not sure if he's entirely there or not. I think we just used to remember.
Your people were good for that.
Toluk's shown this man.
Yes,
A little
Tox comes in. He's like covered in fucking bite marks, like little punctures everywhere. His like hands kind of crusty with a little bit of dry blood, and he's covered in sweat, and his eyes are kind of red raw. And he says, you're here for the wyverns?" Jari nods. He's, yes, this way. And Tox kind of leads them like down kind of into a back room where the two wyverns are like fighting over a large piece of lamb, like a whole leg or something that's like way too big for them. And Jari turns to you and he says, "May I?"
Makudis like nods and like beckons like go.
And so he walks up and like sharply like pulls the lamb out from between both of them, and they like turn and hiss at him. And he like puts it down on a table behind him, and like takes a dagger from his belt, cuts his palm, and holds it out and lets one drop fall between the two wyverns, and they both like dive on it. And Jari lets out this hiss and kind of like smacks the table, and they kind of jump back. And then he like does another drop, and this time they sort of like look at him. He does another drop and makes the first one bigger. And then slowly the wyverns like kind of dip and share the blood. And he makes like a soft like ooh crooning noise kind of thing, before like giving them another couple of drops and rewarding them for like being calm about it.
That is how you teach your wyvern.
Tox is just like, just kind of like on this almost like shaking fury, fear type reaction. But he's like, that's all I had to do.
it looks like you did a job.
They will need more. They are wild creatures, but if they are reared correctly, they can be loyal allies. The blood wyverns like these, they are the most vicious, the most wild, but the most powerful. These have been severely malnourished, though, and they require neat washing.
Yes, it was a terrible place that we got them from.
Then you did a good thing. Kind of smiles at you.
He smiles back. The others I pulled from a sandworm corpse. I think they are much better condition.
His eyes get a little wide.
Yeah.
Oh, that is impressive. They must be carrion wyverns, yes?
Green?
He nods. Yes. They are very easy to train and very large.
Now we drink.
And he actually will choose not to drink, citing the fact that he doesn't want to get the wyverns drunk when they drink his blood. But we'll sit with you and like have an orange juice or whatever.
Get that vitamin C in those wyverns.
Yeah. He's like breastfeeding.
Don't ask.
Yeah, so you've got another employee, I guess.
Ooh. That I imagine they give the wyverns a wide berth, but the next time any of the other players like walk in and there's just this hobgoblin bleeding on them, and like, what the fuck is going on in this room?
But I also imagine like everyone knows how weird it is, so they're just like, that's probably fine.
Tollux, is that you?
The other thing is he gets some like a wooden, like he gets one of the wooden crates that you fucking put that prisoner guy in, like the same type, and he gets it filled with sand. And he like puts them in it and uses the sand to wash them and kind of makes them a nest out of it. And like starts feeding them by dripping the blood on the sand rather than straight for them, so they have to like get it from in amongst the sand, which is a little harder, but will help them more naturally. When they come to actually feed on their own.
Oh, I've just got Declan like, and yes, Chief of Police, this is our fine establishment. Oh, don't go in this room.
Orc, 2 wyverns, psychic spider.
Oh God.
What?
We've not seen the spider yet.
You're still yet to see the spider.
Mm-hmm. So I think before this point, he was like being a little moody because kind of fresh in his mind, the moon hours being brought up. And I think like he'd taken this little piddly dagger that is tiny to him, and he just like throws it at like walls and things because it won't break.
Like Uranex is like kind of like casting mending on the walls, like get them all looking nice, and Maku's just fucking hurling daggers at them.
Yes. But this guy has poked him up a little bit. Also, I think it was nice for him to like see Ove when they give back the thing.
Yeah, actually, we should play that out.
Yeah, probs.
That was a thing. I mean, Declan wasn't there at the start, so we can say Declan went to talk
That
to.
can be when he went to speak to Sharat.
Yeah, that's what I was about to suggest. If everyone's cool to do that, because that is actually a thing I wanted to do.
Sure.
Did Bryn want a thing first, or do you want to do this first?
That is up to Bryn.
I mean, I just imagine Bryn would probably spend most of the days just kind of like arguing with Schmier, trying to find talent for the opening night.
Yeah.
And then
Eventually you do find like quite an act that kind of satisfies both your needs. It's this sort of very, very like quite like overweight sort of buxom lady that Smear seems to have taken a very serious liking to, but she also can warble with the best of them.
Right. And then I imagine like at night she probably just goes around to like different establishments and just plays.
Yeah. And one sort of evening just before you're going to go out, you would find yourself like having a visit paid by a familiar hook-nosed strange figure, Euronex the Black. He would just come up to you and sort of like, I imagine it's maybe just as you're leaving, and he sort of like jumps on. He's like, yes, you.
I was wondering which of these was your establishment.
Sorry, we should have left you a card.
Sort of like looks down his long nose at you.
Well, it's not the worst place I've been, but yes, seems like your typical drinking pit. But, well, the Chalfidi is rather expensive, and my funds are beginning to run a little dry, so if you find yourself in need of my services, do not hesitate to contact me.
And what services would those be?
You know, your standard necromancy type things, undead servants, you know, that kind of thing. Could probably do an army if I had some help. I know of one other necromancer, but he's quite unreachable, but I think I could work something out.
You know another necromancer?
Yes, but he's a rather boring fellow, I must be honest. Quite old.
Not competition, is he?
Not here. He's one of those old tortured Balloon cells.
But he sort of like kind of points to his head, indicating that the man might be a little kooky.
Well, if we ever need a necromancy, I will certainly keep you in mind.
Please do. And if anyone else you hear of is in search of necromancy, spiritual readings, you know,
Send them your way.
things, if you could send them my way, I'd be very grateful.
All right. Seems an odd ask, but all right.
Well, you know, there's a surprising market for it here. It's just rather hard to break into, you know. But
Oh, you need
know,
references.
if you're ever in need of a spirit, or maybe you know, some kind of summoned revenant to wreak havoc or conduct espionage, that sort of thing, I'm always available.
Well, keep that in mind.
Good. Well, anyway, I have better things to do than and
Beg
it just
for
like
work?
he just like spins and tries to like make his cloak kind of flap out a bit as he strides away. He definitely limps on his left leg.
All right.
Yeah. And so yeah, you sort of after that encounter, you go out and play at a few bars or whatever. So the day comes to return. Like you get back from Dukia with the piece of the pot, and you return to the Shalfidi, I assume, pretty quickly. And you see that the like pot itself back in its proper place, and Delha and Ubba are very excited to have the piece back. And she sort of like skips over and takes it and begins reattaching it. Oh, thank you so much. I honestly don't know what I'd do without it. I was just like hand on her shoulder and nodding as she's like kneeling down to put it in. I insist we must pay you. It is ridiculous that you would go without. You've done so much for us.
That won't be necessary.
Well, if you'll not accept our gold, then our help. I am, after all, an alchemist. I can do much. If you bring me something and the necessary materials, I can imbue it. That is what this pot does, after all.
Is that anything? Like items and...
Most anything, yes. It might cost you a little in the materials, but I will not charge you. Would you like a demonstration?
By all means.
She nods and she like takes just like a generic dagger and puts it in the pot. And there's like this sort of like kind of glowing like multicolored liquid that sort of begins to appear in the pot. And she pours in like some cooking fat, some like pieces of coal, and some like pre-carved runes, and kind of begins stirring it. And then she like reaches in and pulls out the dagger, and it's got the sort of runes inscribed like all up it, almost like they've been acid burned in. And she like washes it in the pot and then puts it back in and begins like singing to the pot. And there's like all these kind of spinning arcane glyphs that appear around it. And she's like casting this spell and moving her hands above the pot. Once she's done, the liquid goes and she reaches into the pot and draws out the dagger. And it is like, it looks fairly similar, but as I said, it has these runes, and she snaps her fingers and it bursts into flame, and then snaps it again and it goes out. You see, I took the dagger and I imbued it with flame. I can imbue something of any size, even if it will not fit in the pot. But if it is very large, it might take more material to imbue.
Can she make the staff of healing smaller?
I could definitely try, but it might take a little time.
How long do you think that you could do something with?
If I work all night, maybe I could have it tomorrow morning.
Like, okay, so out of character, could she like take the staff of healing and imbue it into the khopesh so that Abrashmina will have a khopesh of healing?
So that is a very
Yeah.
like high level one. So she could, but it would take a lot of materials, i.e. a lot of gold.
How much?
You're probably looking in the region of like maybe 600-700.
Will not have that.
Sorry, just as I remember, what was the gold that we got the last time we shared gold out? Was it like 62 or something?
62. 63 for you guys.
63, okay. Because I didn't add that.
Yeah, you were in the middle of talking to guards while I was doing math. I'm sorry.
No problem at all.
Well, that's kind of expensive for just me wanting to have a smaller staff. Could you just make it smaller for cheaper?
She could definitely try. Probably looking at 200 gold worth of materials.
Because it is like super obvious, right? You said?
Yeah. It's like 6.5 feet long.
Yeah, that's not conducive for...
It's cool, though.
Huh?
Cool though.
It is cool.
Are you willing to pay 200 gold? Cool.
Can you would do that to the holy relic of a lost religion.
that's my thing. Is that it feels kind of sacrilegious to do that, but
Here is this holy stick. Meh. I want it in pink.
I
Can I have it
mean,
fluffy?
Does it come in
Hello
print?
Kitty all over it.
I mean, kind of, yeah. Nah, I guess that's never mind.
I'm sorry I could not help you, but anything else?
Could she recharge the necklace of fireballs? Because
I could do that definitely.
it is missing. It only has 2 of the beats.
I could do this for maybe 10 gold per charge.
How
I
many
just need a little
charges
gold.
does it? How many charges does it have?
Several?
1d6 plus 3.
Okay,
No, wait,
so
that's
up to 9.
up to 9. Yeah, and it has 2 on there. So for 70 gold, I could have a full one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totes done.
Okay. So she says that'll take about 5 to 6 hours.
Okay. That's money well spent, I think. Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, yeah. So out of character then, just an explanation of this. She's going to be able to recharge any items. She can repair broken or damaged items. She can take properties or damage types from one weapon and put it on another, or add damage types to weapons. She can also enchant weapons and armor and items with spell abilities, but all that comes at varying prices.
So recharge, change, fix, enchant.
Yeah, recharge, change, fix, enchant, transmute item abilities onto one another. Yeah.
Okay.
Make potions as well, I guess, because that's kind of alchemy stuff. But yeah, she's not charging you for the service; it's just the materials.
Makud is gonna futz around and take about a third of his gold and go. This is to make this stuff smaller.
No, Dan, that's serious sacrilegious.
Makud is give her the staff.
No.
Do it.
No.
I've already spent the money. It's gone.
God damn it.
But
yeah.
She says
he just
yes.
pushes it over to her.
Are you making her do the staff? Because Abrishmina is not the gold for Abrishmina. It's the fact that it's the relic of an ancient religion.
Yeah, no. Take your money back, put it back on your sheet.
If there was a pigeon going around, he might be landing on your axe.
Yeah,
I have no idea what it does.
We don't know that anything's wrong.
That's why it was a pigeon.
Is an insightful pigeon. Do you have anything, Berlin? The wonders that the pot can do?
I mean, could you make my rapiers more effective?
Yes, of course. That is the one I do most often, I suppose.
And what would that cost?
Well,
For
it
both of
depends on
them?
what you would like. I could make them magical. I could add an elemental effect.
Magical. What would it cost to make them magical?
Well, for the most basic magical enchantment, that will be 300 gold apiece. Just I require sharp stones, and they are very expensive.
300 gold apiece. I think I can do that.
I do have a I do have a spare poison frog if you would like to add poison to one as well, but that is up to you.
What would
don't
that
have-
cost?
Oh, well, I have the frog already, so nothing.
Oh, wow! I absolutely. If you would be so generous, that would.
Yes, I've been meaning to get rid of that frog, so it's the least I can do.
Thank you.
But I will need to keep these for maybe a day and a half.
All right.
Maybe you could do one at a time.
Yes, I could do that.
That was more me than my code, but
Yeah, it makes sense to do one at a time.
Okay.
Bryn, that shield that you got from the shack, there is perhaps something we can do with that, yes?
Yeah.
Do you wish to use it?
I have no need for it. I was going to see if anyone else could use it before.
Albertina whistles and like looks at the shield that is on the back.
you mean
Um,
the magical deck save?
Mm-hmm. Perhaps
Sandworm
perhaps they could be combined. So that
I mean,
blimey.
it's yours if you want it.
that would be most kind of you. Is that something she could do? Could she make like the spell guard part of like the fancy jeweled thing on the super light gives me advantage on deck save shield?
She could, but again, that's going to be hella expensive because of the rarity.
How hella expensive?
Like 1,500 gold.
Hate me, Rob.
It's like a crazy high level
Yeah,
for
yeah,
dual
yeah.
shield.
Yeah.
Being able to fucking let you customize your magic items as much as you want. Yeah, what a dick I am. Pop breaks, fuck it.
No. Yeah. So, yeah. Never mind that. Jeez, you just making me feel bad about all of them. Figuring what I'll do with the pot.
Is there anything else I can do? I honestly, I cannot thank you enough.
I'm trying to think of something that she could do with the things that we have.
McCoot's tote's going to get the beetle imbued.
Could
Enlarge.
Oh, enlarge reduce beetle. Just goes
Yeah.
thundering by.
To a mini.
Yeah.
Could we do something with the drift globe, maybe? Do something. It is a magical item that we could do something else with, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, so you could do it either way. You could like take an effect and put it in the drift globe, or you could take the light effect and put it in something else. But
It's just a
basically,
really sad drift globe.
when she does it, yeah, like the item that's losing its effect is going to be consumed in the process.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, Spellguard Shield will be consumed if you put the Spellguard ability on there.
Yeah. Never mind.
But if you do it the other way, then you'd only use your Scale Shield. it is things to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? I presume we have like a day and a half or so until the grand unveiling of stuff.
Yeah.
He like gets a little quieter, which for him is still pretty loud, and he kind of like leans into her and asks like, "Do you think you could do something with this?" And like he like runs his hand over the decorative kind of headdress thing that he has, like woven between his horns and things.
She kind of reaches up and like feels it in her hands, and she says, "Yes, I could absolutely do something with it. Is there something you'd like imbued?"
So I imagine it is kind of like a showy style, but he also kind of remembers that they wear something like this in his tribe, and it's like his best approximation of it. But it's like quite fancy because he, had some materials and was a decorative champion cow for a while. Like, I would like to make sure that it is protected, and maybe that it represents the best in me.
Hmm. Did you have something specific in mind?
Like in character, I don't think he can really ask. Like out character, I was thinking like A, make it magical so it won't get broken, and B, like maybe something either protective in nature or like charismatic or like something willpower. I don't know. I was kind of trying to leave it vague for you because he couldn't ask. So I don't know, like something to make like boost up like the charisma champion side of him that people are more enthralled by his stories, or like definitely at the base level make it magical so it's defendable, but something protective. It could be willpower type or armory type or
Willpower, armor, or charisma checks.
something like that. Like a headdress of protection, or like headdress of you get advantage on charisma a lot or something.
I have a cool idea.
I just thought I'd leave it in your hands. But he is like quite attached to it, and he's like, I will definitely have it back in the day.
Yes, of course. She says, hold on, I gotta find it, not me. She says, well, I do have an idea. If you are something of a leader, yes? You inspire courage in your friends, and
he like stands tall and like smiles.
Something we could do with this. We could make it so that you can embolden your allies and let them bask in the glory of Makud.
I would like that.
Okay, she smiles. That is going to take her 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to mean once a day you cast Heroism.
That was like the not be feared and get some temporary hit points type spell, right?
Immune to frighten, gain temporary hit points equal to your spell casting ability modifier, which is X.
Ooh,
Based off
like
of
X.
his strength, because this is strength that is inspiring.
We can bullshit it and say strength, sure.
I mean, he is a Minotaur. There's going to be a lot of bullshit.
I get it.
Cool.
And your magic spell won't break.
Sure. Is there a chance that it can be higher levels for more monies? So, like, you can inspire multiple, say, 3 people?
Yeah, so base cost is going to be 150 gold.
Sweet.
An extra 150 for each level.
450.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
All right. 450. Do it.
He has concentration. Oh, damn. I've got to keep concentration now. That shouldn't be a problem. It'll be fine. Yeah, sure. Why not? That's 205 gold left.
That is a much better use of your money than making the staff shorter.
You go back up to the Bell Witch and she's like, I swear that was longer. Bigger in my memory.
So is it like 150 a spell level?
Maybe for different spells?
Yeah.
It's a first level spell that's getting
It is, but it's going to be different if you want to get like a thing of fireball. It's going to be different, like.
I was wondering if maybe this might be dumb. It might be dumb. But the little tarot set that she always casts augury with? Could she imbue her tarot thing so that maybe not now, maybe like whenever the spell becomes available to Mina, can she cast commune as a ritual without having it prepared?
I do not know that spell, but if you help me for the process, we can do it.
So I'd have to wait until Abrashmina is physically able to cast the spell.
Yes.
Okay. I will keep this in mind. Because it is something that I want to have prepared a lot. And so it would free.
Absolutely.
It's a 5th level spell too. So
yeah.
Which spell are you talking about?
Commune.
Oh, commune with the cards.
Yes.
Not just augury or whatever you were using before.
Yeah.
So like a 5th level spell is going to be like 750 gold.
Well, for now, could it just be having augury always prepared on the cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, for like 150? Because augury is
5th level.
No, augury is, let me check. Oh, 2nd level, sorry.
Yeah, so that will be 300, and she doesn't know that spell, so you would have to spend the time with her.
Yeah, I think 300 to have that spell slot prepared for something else is worth it, for something that I like having for flavor.
Why not? And you've made them magical, so they won't burn up when you get hit by
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay. So mark off 300 gold, and
it is done.
Like 6 hours of your time. And because you're ordering so many things at once, like depending on which order she does them in, like it's going to be a while.
Mine can wait.
Makota's like, mine first.
Yes. Yeah. Mine can definitely.
Makoot's thing first. Rapier 1, Rapier 2, Abrashmina's thing. Was there anything else she was doing?
No, that was the fireballs. But did she do that right away?
No. The fireballs.
No, that was going to take a few hours as well.
Yeah, I could have it to you next morning if I work all night.
Oh yeah, that one can wait too, I think.
So that will take like 12 hours. That one.
Okay. Mina will go last.
But I think that's all we're gonna do. We'll have Declan see if he wants to have anything. And then we'll just next session we're going straight into the goddamn opening.
Woo.
Okay?